On the side of the street laid an unmoving body. The intense sun was like fire, yet he was clad in a body of black clothing. Under the scorching heat, the pure black face cloth was unmistakably immensely hot, and the surface of the ground was also hot to the point where not one person dared to touch it. With such black clothing, with such burning ground, just the thought of touching either could induce fear. Yet this person had been on the ground for a whole 1 day and night. Why is he still here? Probably already dead. The passerbys would only gaze at him for a brief moment, before hurriedly leaving. The majority living here were in the lowest caste of society, busying every day for sustenance. In this society where the human essence is inhibited, kindness to them is a worthless thing. At the same time, in this era, a person fallen by the roadside should not be saved. This unknowingly had become a cold consensus. TL. This relates to the culture of faking falls in China currently. Mama, look, be slow, there's a person there. Is he sick? A child holding his mother's hand said and pointed at the collapsed man. Do not get close to him, don't forget what Mama told you before. Most people collapsed by the roadside have contracted Isrock and been abandoned. Do not get close or you will be infected. Come, let's move further away. Ah! The boy shouted with astonishment. His face revealed a terrified look, and he took the initiative to hold his mama's hand and hastily moved further away, not giving the man another look. Even a 6 or 7-year-old child knew to be terrified of Isrock. Isrock is a terminal illness that diminishes one's immune system and life force. The only way to be afflicted with Isrock was to be infected from a carrier. Its makeup is similar to AIDS, that was once common in the 20th and 21st centuries, but it is much scarier than AIDS. The longest known survivor of Isrock had lived only 5 years. After entering the 30th century, mankind suffered retribution from Mother Earth. In order to fight for the gradually diminishing resources, dangerous wars were started and the world fell into chaos. By nuclear and magnetic pollution left behind by wars, the Isrock disease was born. Those with weak innate immune systems with long exposure to the polluted environments would develop the Isrock virus in their body. The appearance of the Isrock virus signaled that one's life was nearing its end. Even more terrifying was how contagious the nature of Isrock is. It can spread through any bodily fluids, including blood, saliva and even sweat. Thus, family members could only mercilessly choose to abandon an infected. Because no amount of money or effort could save an infected, keeping them on the other hand would cause more to be infected. Isrock was like a terrifying demon that people are not slow in avoiding. It was also known as heaven's punishment towards humanity's crude wars. If it weren't for the nuclear and magnetic pollution, the Isrock virus would not have been born. Therefore, under the whole world's cries and urges, the famous 100-year Armistice Convention that's known to all was signed by all of the countries. And the battlefield to solve the international disputes, under the convention, would be the second world that people had come to deeply rely on, the virtual reality game world. The majority of the world voted in favor of having the battleground in the gaming world to settle international disputes. Thus, after signing the 100-year Armistice Convention, the development of the gaming world has reached an unprecedented pinnacle. Each country invested large amounts of money in meticulous training to refine the gaming world top gamers. After the 100-year Armistice Convention, with the nuclear and magnetic pollution gradually decreasing, fewer and fewer people carried Isrock. However, this horrifying incident would forever be etched in people's heart. And so, the black-clothed man collapsed by the road, was naturally assumed to be a carrier of Isrock, whom had been abandoned. People pitied him but no one dared to approach. Until Big Brother, quickly wake up. You will be burned if you lie down here. Big Brother, in front of the man, there was a little girl wearing a light yellow dress. She looked to be only 10 with eyes beautiful like stars and a face as delicate as a porcelain doll. Anyone that saw her would halt in their steps and stare, wondering if they were seeing an angel that had mistakenly descended down to earth. The girl held a half-consumed cold beverage in one hand and threw aside her umbrella that was being held on her other hand. Then, she lightly shook the unmoving man as her star-like eyes were filled with worry and anxiety and called out in a tender voice. Perhaps the man was only slightly unconscious and never truly knocked out. Under the call of the girl that wasn't too loud, the man's body moved lightly. Slowly, he lifted his head with great difficulty, revealing a pale man's face. He looked to be around 16 to 17 years of age with messy hair, cracked lips, his face pale to the point it scared people. He opened his eyes slightly, and cloudy eyes met a pair of crystal-clear eyes. Such pretty eyes. Good, you are finally awake. The girl breathed a sigh of relief and beamed a happy smile. Looking at her flawless smile through his hazy eyesight, the teenage male was stunned for a moment. Before today, he had experienced a lot of cold stares and indifference that he had long since gotten used to. This experience made it hard for him to believe that a pair of clean, clear eyes still existed in this world. Big brother, have you fallen ill? Can you stand up? It's hot lying on the ground. Ah, it's all right, Papa and Mama will be here shortly. They will definitely help Big Brother. Oh right, my papa's a doctor, he'll help Big Brother get better. The girl held her umbrella over him, covering his upper body, inquiring and comforting him in a soft voice. The male moved his dry cracked lips, his throat felt like it was being grilled by fire. After trying with great effort, he only managed to get a word out. Water. The girl's eyes fluttered for a brief second, then brought her half-consumed beverage close to the male's lips. I don't have water. Is this okay? It's cooling and sweet. The girl carefully brought the straw to his lips. The teen used all his energy to take a deep sip. Instantly, a cold liquid, like clear spring, flowed into his mouth. Slowly flowing through his throat, the liquid flowed into his body, which seemed to have died long ago. At that moment, he finally could perceive the existence of his body. His sight had also become clearer. He tightly bit the straw that brought him back from death's door, and his eyes stared at the girl that watched him attentively, unwilling to move. Is it nice? If it's nice, then you must finish it all. If you want more, I can have my mama and papa buy more in a short while. Seeing him trying hard to suck the straw, the girl's thin eyebrow lifted into two crescent moons and revealed a cute smile. This smile was instantly etched deeply into his heart. He knew that in this life, he could not allow himself to forget this moment, even more so this girl. Even footsteps sounded from behind. The girl turned back immediately, then waved and shouted, Papa, Mama, I am here. This Big Brother had fainted. A middle-aged couple approached, dressed in normal clothing that showed that their family was not wealthy. Seeing the girl and the male collapsed on the ground beside, both of them were shocked. Roa, get away from him quickly. The girl's mom ran toward her terrified with a cry, then hastily carried her away. The beverage in the girl's hand fell to the ground. Woo! Mama, why did you pull me away? Big Brother is thirsty. He wants water. Mama, Papa, can you save him? Papa, you are a great doctor, you can definitely save him, right? The girl struggled slightly in her mother's embrace before looking to the teenage male with a worried gaze. Rest assured, he has not been infected with the Bizrock disease. The girl's father is a doctor, and coincidentally, he normally interacts with lots of Bizrock patients. After looking at the teen for a while, he knew the teen has not contracted Bizrock. After hearing this, the girl's mother felt relieved. She crouched down and gave the teenage male an apologetic smile. Child, I am sorry. Earlier I was too worried about Roa. What is your name? Why are you here? The teen moved his lips. After some time, he let out a voice with great difficulty. My name is, what is my name now? I don't know. Because, I have already decided to forget my past name. How I wish I can forget forever. After the signing of the 100-Year Armistice Convention, international conflicts were to be solved with combat in the virtual game world. But, there are countless virtual reality games in the world. For fairness, the convention is updated every 10 years. The content of the update is only the designated virtual game world. Which means that in the next 10 years, if there is a problem that needs to use fighting to settle it, it can only be done in the designated game world to decide the outcome. This would evidently cause the game designated by the convention to sweep across the entire world, even to cause the countries to greatly encourage citizens to enter the game and expend large amounts of financial resources and effort to build up the overall level of players along with, most importantly, the top-tier players. Besides the few pacifistic small countries, most of the countries are like this. Over time, small-scale virtual reality games slowly fell out of favor. In the end, besides the designated virtual reality games, all the other virtual reality games quietly disappeared, because humanity only needs one second world. As for the newly updated convention, its new designated game is Shenyu, that still has 2 days before it goes online. Therefore, promotions related to Shenyu covered the world's corners. The Chinese government was also strongly promoting it. At the same time, like the previous chosen virtual reality games, the gaming equipment for Shenyu is all completely free. When you go to receive it, you only need to bring a DNA sample like hair, nail, etc. When you receive it, the equipment will bind your DNA so only you can use it. The reason Shenyu is named so, the official explanation is, the map for the world of Shenyu is a near-perfect crescent moon. Eastern players will start at the east of the new moon, and Western players will start at the west of the crescent moon. It is named Shenyu according to the beautiful shape of the map. The scorching sunlight tested Yun Feng's near-gone patience, his hand holding a strand of his sister's hair. He grimaced in pain as he moved forward with the line, occasionally turning his head to look at the long line behind him to find some psychological comfort. As the eldest son of the president of China's second biggest financial group, usually no matter what he wanted to do, it was just a matter of opening his mouth. From when he was just a kid, this is actually the first time that he's stopped under the intense sun for so long. 5, 4, 3. Finally, in front of me stood only 3 people. Yun Feng once again let out a small sigh. Glancing at the receptionist, even though she was sweating profusely, she still showed a professional smile. He mumbled quietly, "Looks pretty nice, but compared to my sister, she's virtually nothing. TL, shame on you dirty-minded people. He's just making an observation." Tisk tsk, after a glance, he lost interest in continuing to look, randomly swinging his head. Suddenly, his eyesight became fixed, mouth opened slightly, uncontrollably letting out a cry. What a cute girl. What he saw was a face of pure beauty, a girl just like an angel. He believed that no matter who saw her, they would all be amazed and captured by her delicate face of almost surreal beauty. She looked to be already 15, 16 years old, holding onto a stick of ice cream that was just as white as her skin, eating it sweetly. The corners of her mouth forming a light smile that would melt your heart, her eyes that blinked from time to time were like shining crystals. He was confident, never in his lifetime had he seen such pure eyes. The image in his vision so beautiful it seemed unreal. Yun Feng's vision actually became sluggish for a while. She was like an angel that walked out of a picture. Her beauty and pureness shouldn't belong in this world, because this world's polluted air would only dirty her. Behind him came a light push. Only then did Yun Feng awaken from his stupor. He quickly moved forward a small step, lined up behind the last 2 people in front of him. Yun Feng shook his head, looking at the girl again. He only now noticed, that girl was surprisingly sitting in a wheelchair. Such a beautiful girl, once she grows up she might even be above Meng Xing'an, wheelchair? This girl, is she maybe sick, or maybe has a disability? Wait. That abnormally pale face. Is rock. Yun Feng's pupil slightly contracted. he was certain, that girl was infected with the world's most terrifying disease, Isrock. Sigh, should you say that God is just, or simply cruel, giving her a face that is destined to become a startling beauty, but having to take away her life so early? Yunfeng secretly sighed, taking back his gaze of pity, a little unbearable to again look at the girl whose life was doomed to wither early, then taking a look at the person pushing her forward. The moment he saw that person's face, it was like Yunfeng has been struck by lightning. He stood there absolutely stunned. That is a young man who looks to be in the early 20s, a tall frame, his facial features very sharp and defined, faintly emitting a pressing aura. He pushes the wheelchair moving forward, his footsteps slow and uniform, afraid that his movements would be too large, alarming the girl in front. Seemingly sensing Yunfeng's stare, his face suddenly turned around. Immediately, Yunfeng saw a pair of eyes as cold as a dead star. The moment his eyesight focused on him, he even felt as though his eyes had been pricked by a sharp sword. The man's gaze only stopped on him for a split second before retracting his eyes, refocusing on the girl in front. Along with it, his look also became very soft, that is the look of a person looking at the most important person in their life. This person, this look, he is Big Brother, ice cream. The girl turned around, raising up high the slightly eaten ice cream, putting it at the man's lips. The man smiled slightly lowered his head, taking a small bite from where the girl had left a lip print. The girl smiled innocently, taking back the ice cream and then biting the area the man had just bitten before. Yunfeng was horrified, almost unable to resist charging at them. Even though there were continuously less people infected with Isrock after the development of the vaccine, and the spreading of it was also greatly controlled. But, even if you received the vaccine, you would not be 100% safe. That girl clearly has contracted Isrock. Is that man not afraid of getting infected? Isrock is spread through all kinds of body fluids, even spit. This is common knowledge even for children. Big Brother, let's get home faster, okay? It's so hot outside and I'm worried that my sweat is going to dirty the shirt Brother just washed for me. The duo's figures and voices were gradually leaving Yunfeng further away. Yunfeng's eyes followed them in the direction they were heading. He was not looking at the overly refined girl, but at the man. Are they siblings? Wait. What am I thinking? Yunfeng knocked on his head. When he brought his head back up, the man was already very far from him, vanishing at the corner of the street while pushing the wheelchair. Crap. In front of him stood the last person before him. The 1 hour that he suffered through was about to bear fruit. Shaking the warm sweat on his head, Yunfeng was so anxious that his mouth started twitching. Finally, with a bite of his teeth, he ran out of the queue, quickly running in the direction that the man vanished. Is this guy an idiot? The fatty lying behind Yunfeng the whole time stared at his back, mumbling a bit. Right when it was almost his turn after enduring through such torture, he actually just left like that. If there's nothing wrong with him, what else could it be? Running to the corner, Yunfeng once more saw the silhouette of the man. He let out a long breath, but thinking about his abnormal, sharp gaze from last time, he didn't dare to get too close. Instead, he followed behind from far away, carefully looking at their figures advance. About 10 minutes later, the man pushed the girl entering a high-end villa section. Yunfeng was surprised for a bit, but then let out an understanding chuckle. How could a person of his level lack money? The old uncle let out multiple sighs, clearly feeling sorry for the girl's fate. So it is Isrock. Yunfeng nodded his head, shouting, "Thanks, uncle," and then ran away, unable to wait under the uncle's strange stare. 2 hours later. TL, read it like they would in SpongeBob. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then I pity your childhood. That man's name is Ling Chen, the girl is Ling Shui Ruo. 2 years ago they moved here from Zhongzhou City, most likely to be able to better treat Isrock. We went to the hospital to check her medical records. That girl has already been infected with Isrock for 3 whole years. Her parents were infected around the same time and both died after only 1 year, yet that girl has tenaciously persisted until now. The doctor says that she has a very strong will to live, though, the Isrock virus has already spread throughout her entire body. No matter how strong she is, at most, she only has 3 more months left. Also, there's rumor that Ling Chen was adopted by the Ling couple 6 years ago. He is not a blood relative with Ling Shui Rua. The authenticity of the information is still to be confirmed. Young master, that is all the data at the moment. That's enough. Yun Feng closed the video chat and took a look at the time. Standing up, after pacing around the room for a bit, he opened the door and jogged out. Right now he couldn't wait for a single moment. This kind of affair, naturally he has to do it himself. Entering the house, Ling Chen as usual carried his sister's soft body, gently placing her on her special little bed in the middle of the living room. Bending his body, Ling Chen poked the tip of Shui Rua's nose, saying as he smiled, "Rua Rua, are you hungry? What do you want to eat?" "I just had ice cream, I'm not hungry." Ling Shui Rua shook her head. She then blinked her gem-like eyes, opening her arms, making a hugging motion towards her brother. "Big brother, it's still so hot, can you first carry me to take a bath?" "Sure." Ling Chen smiled as he carried Shui Rua again, walking in the direction of the bathroom. The Isrock virus had already spread throughout Ling Shui Rua's body. The strength of her body is almost worse than that of a 2-3-year-old child, furthermore she's lost the ability to walk. All of her movement are all accomplished by wheelchair and Ling Chen's arms. She loved the feeling of being carried in his embrace. Every time at this moment, her eyes would be closed, using what was left of her energy to snuggle closely to him, listening to his heartbeat, smelling his scent. Ling Chen supported the house by himself, washing clothes, cooking, cleaning, all the household chores belonged to him. The rest of his time he spent it all accompanying Shui Rua, almost never willing to allow her to leave his sight. 2 years ago, when he came to Beijing with Shui Rua, he had already decided that before Shui Rua left him, he would spend every minute, every second by her side. Maybe, before he met her, he would never believe that one day he would go to such an extent for a girl. TL, this is a very pure scene. Those with dirty thoughts shall forever be banished from this realm. In the clean, wide bathroom, Ling Shui Rua had her eyes closed, her long eyelashes shaking slightly, allowing her brother to gently take off her clothes, and then with a practiced motion untie her light blue bra. A cold feeling rushed at the front of her bosom. She opened her eyes, looking at her white soft breast exposed in the air, crystal clear like 2 inverted jade bowls, the tip, 2 light-colored buds so soft and pink that you almost couldn't bear to touch them. As for this beautiful scene that is enough to make any man's blood boil, only her and the man behind are able to admire it. A pair of hands surrounded her from under her arms, carefully cupping her soft white breasts, gently starting to rub them. Ling Chen stuck to her neck from behind, admiring her soft, sleek neck, tenderly saying, "Rua Rua, it seems like they got bigger again." "Then, does brother like it?" Ling Shui Rui lightly pursed her tender lips, her chest lightly moving up and down with his caress, her cheeks rouged, light pants coming from her mouth, her eyes slowly becoming blurred. "Rua Rua is the most beautiful girl in the world, every part of Rua Rua's body is perfect, of course I like it." Ling Chen smiled as he said so, a gentle kiss falling upon her thin, tender lips, which slowly slid towards her radiant cheeks. Ling Shui Rua's skin as if made of nephrite, soft jade, slightly clear, smooth and soft like an infant's. His hands moved from her chest, slowly moving down, gently taking off the aqua blue underwear, revealing her bewitching, curvaceous body. 2 long slender legs flashing a crystalline luster, her soft, round buttocks unspeakably ravishing. Ling Chen picked her up gently, placing her within the bathtub that was already filled with warm water. Even though he spent all of his time with her and was already very familiar with every inch of her body, even so, every time they met like this his conviction would always be put under a heavy trial. He calmed down his thoughts, fingers bringing along with it warm water as he softly stroked her body, sliding across her sleek neck, smooth shoulders, soft bosom, thin waist, white slender legs. His motion slow and soft as if caressing a glass doll that would break upon touching it. Ling Shui Ruo had her eyes closed, like a cute kitten snuggling against his chest, enjoying his loving caress on her body. When the temperature of the water gradually grew colder, she opened her eyes, saying cheerlessly, "Brother, the doctor said at most I can live for another 3 months, is that true?" Ling Chen's hand paused for a moment. He held her small hands, smiling. He asked, "Does Ruo Ruo believe it?" Ling Shui Ruo shook her head strongly. "I don't believe it, I still haven't completed the oath I made to brother, how could I die?" Ling Chen's eyes became covered in a hazy mist. He hurriedly closed his eyes for a while, making the mist that had just risen dissipate, so that Shui Ruo couldn't see it. He tightly hugged the young girl before him, saying softly, "That's why, Ruo Ruo has to work hard, up until the day you marry me, okay?" He will never forget the promise that Shui Ruo made to him using her slightly childish voice when she was 12, "When I grow up, I have to marry big brother." This amazing promise became her motivation to never change this entire time. But now, Israk has made her most lovely wish into an impossible reality. That she could endure until now is enough to demonstrate how strong she is, but, he knew, Shui Ruo's vitality at the moment was as weak as a young blade of grass. A slightly stronger wind or rain could inadvertently take away her life. Just 1 hour ago, the doctor used what seemed to him as a cruel voice, telling him, at most she has 3 months, this is also under the most optimistic conditions. Once she falls asleep, there's always the chance that she'll never wake up. That she has persisted until now is already a miracle. "Give up, I will keep trying, I will try as hard as I can to endure until that day, but, can you agree to one of my requests?" Ling Shui Ruo flashed her eyes, asking softly. "Ling Chen, if I can't endure until that day, you can't be sad for too long, especially not lonely, and then, big brother has to find a beautiful, gentle, kind girl who likes brother to take care of you, always by your side, okay?" Ling Shui Ruo nestled in his chest, saying dreamlike words. Ling Chen bit his lips hard. Words like these, the strong Shui Ruo had never said them before. Evidently, she knew that she no longer had the strength to continue surviving. He shook his head, using a slightly trembling low voice he cried out, "Ruo Ruo, don't say such silly things, I will surely, definitely not let you leave me." Ling Shui Ruo did not speak again. She snuggled in his embrace, enjoying every precious moment with him. Mama said, after people die, they will go to a place called heaven. That place is very cozy, very peaceful, it will make everyone happy. But, there is no big brother there. A place without big brother, how can it be heaven? I really want to keep living until the day that I can marry big brother, and then spending my entire life with him. I never want to see him hurt or lonely. After feeding Shui Ruo lunch, he carries her back to her bed in her room, gently kissing her forehead and quietly withdraws. Every day at this time Ling Shui Ruo sleeps. Carriers of Israk need large amounts of sleep so as to reduce the loss of vitality up to a certain extent, or else it will quicken the time of death. Glancing at the time, Ling Chen sits on the sofa, turning on the television. He usually doesn't watch TV, and doesn't pay much attention to anything besides stuff related to Israk treatment. When Ling Ruo Shui contracted Israk, he invested all of his time and energy on her. The world of Shenyu will open up this month on the 7th at 9 in the morning throughout the entire world at the same time. Shenyu is once again another landmark in the history of virtual world gaming. It will show to all players a mysterious world that surpasses imagination. Randomly flipping through a couple channels, they were all related to Shenyu promotions. Ling Chen turned off the TV, half lying on the couch, eyes squinted, lightly letting out a breath of air. Right now all of his thoughts are about Ling Shui Ruo, whatever Shenyu, whatever virtual game world, all of it had nothing to do with him. Big brother. Big brother, hurry and wake up, you'll get a horrible burn lying on the ground like that. Big brother, I don't have water, will this do? It's very cooling, and very sweet. Mama, why did you carry me aside? Big brother is thirsty, he really wants to drink water. Mama, Papa, can you guys save him please? Papa, you're a great doctor, you'll definitely save him right? Ruah, that year, you called me back from the border of death. But this time, what should I use to save your life? Ding dong, the sound of the doorbell that rang in his ears made Ling Chen open his eyes, sit up straight and slightly tighten his forehead. In this area, almost every resident knows that an Isrock carrier lives in the number 12 villa, and so, his house practically never gets visitors, people don't even dare to get close. The sound of the doorbell hadn't been heard in a long time. What he cared more about though, was whether or not the noisy doorbell would wake up Shui Ruah who was sleeping. Okay, I'd like to clarify that this is not an erotica. So there might be a few more scenes like that in the future. I'm most likely just going to briefly mention them and then move on. I only did the full translation this time because it was the first time. Moving on. Ling Chen, hello, I know your name is Ling Chen. As soon as he opened his mouth, young Feng wanted to slap himself in the face a couple of times. He interacted with important figures on a daily basis, and even if it was the highest official of China, he would not get stage fright. Yet with this youth about his age in front of his eyes, he actually failed to talk coherently. Young Feng suppressed the excitement in his heart and spoke seriously, I'm sure you don't recognize me. This visit is also very presumptuous, but I have very important matters to speak with you about. Oh, that's right, let me do my self-introductions first. My name is Yun Feng. Can I come in and speak with you? Ling Chen stared into Yun Feng's eyes for a second before expressionlessly replying, my house is contaminated with Isrock. Do you still wish to enter? No problem, I was just vaccinated last month. Young Feng stammered out. Everybody knows that the current Isrock vaccine isn't perfect. It cannot guarantee immunity 100% of the time. With this, are you sure you want to enter? Yes, of course. Yun Feng nodded without hesitation. Ling Chen gave him another glance and remained silent for a few seconds. He then turned around, then come in. Young Feng felt as if he had heard the words of a god and walked in filled with joy. He then closed the door as he laughed at himself, looks like I'm still too young. When I see the person I respect the most, my heartbeat increases and I lose control of myself. The living room was simply furnished, but it was extremely neat. Young Feng walked in very carefully. When Ling Chen sat down, he also hurriedly sat in front of Ling Chen and started speaking. Let me begin the self-introductions again. My name is Young Feng, I am. Why did you come looking for me? Ling Chen rudely interrupted him. Looking at Ling Chen up close and experiencing his piercing stare, Young Feng's heartbeat became faster and faster as he became more and more certain Ling Chen was that person. This was the sharpest stare he had experienced in his lifetime, sharper than even the edge of a sword. Under his expressionless gaze, Young Feng began to feel a bit choked. He took a deep breath before speaking, I came here to make a business deal with you. Please don't refuse immediately, I'm certain this business deal is of great interest to you. Business deal? Ling Chen slightly wrinkled his eyebrows. He had let this person enter because he didn't feel any kind of evil intent or danger from him. As for business deals, he never easily made deals with other because. Yes. Yun Feng nodded his head and started speaking, the day after tomorrow is the opening of a mystic moon. I believe you are already aware of this. I want. A trace of excitement leaked into Young Feng's voice, I want to invite you to join a gaming studio. No, a gaming guild, only right now it's a bit small. Not interested. I stopped having time to play those things a long time ago, you can leave. Ling Chen refused without hesitation and displayed an expression of wanting Yun Feng to leave as soon as possible. Only, in his heart, he was somewhat suspicious why this person would especially come to invite him to join a gaming guild. The virtual gaming world, huh? Right now my only world is Shui Rua, everything else can give up on infringing on my time with Shui Rua. Wait. Wait, let me finish. Let me finish. Young Feng hurriedly waved his hands before quickly calming himself down and continuing, because this is a business deal, my side will naturally compensate you satisfactorily. I know you have a sister with Isrock and these past few years, you have been struggling to save her. Well, there is something you should be interested in. Yun Feng's expression became serious and he slowly spoke out a name, Drug 13223. Who? The calm and collected Ling Chen reacted as if he had been pricked with a needle and stood up from the sofa, both eyes staring intensely at Yun Feng. You. Say it again. Before, Yun Feng had seen Ling Chen's love for his sister, so Ling Chen's reactions now were entirely within his expectations. Yun Feng stood up as well and looked Ling Chen straight in the eye. Drug 13223, that's the payment for the deal. That drug, there are only 13 bottles of it in the whole world. No, that was at the start. Of the 13, 10 have already been used. There only remain 3 remaining, one of which happens to be in my possession. Yun Feng's gaze did not waver in the slightest, letting Ling Chen see his words contained not a hint of deceit. Who are you? Only now did Ling Chen truly begin evaluating this person before him. Ling Chen's body shivered, particularly his hands. In this world, the things able to pull his heartstrings were few in number, yet this, Drug 13223, was able to cause a thunderclap to go off in his chest. This was because Drug 13223 was the most effective drug at treating Isrock available up to now. As long as an Isrock patient was given the drug, it would cause the Isrock virus to fall into a dormant state for 10 years. Within these 10 years, the patient would not be affected by the Isrock virus at all and gradually recover vitality and life force. Their body would gradually return to a healthy state. Until 10 years later, when the disease would return once again. And its significance did not lie solely in its ability to extend life by 10 years. As science became more advanced, it was very likely that within 10 years, a complete cure for Isrock would be discovered. When the disease returned once again, it would no longer as scary and despair-inducing. There were only 13 bottles of this medicine in the whole world. Before the professor who developed it could make a 14th bottle, he was assassinated and the composition of Drug 13223 became a mystery. The people who knew of this drug were very few. Ling Chen happened to be one of those who knew. These last few years, he had never stopped looking for Drug 13223, but no matter how hard he looked, he always came back empty-handed. After all, in the whole world, there were only 13 bottles. Yun Feng. The Yun Financial Group's direct heir. With my identity, do you think that I have the qualifications to possess a vial of drug 13,223? Ling Chen, at the time my family went through great difficulty to obtain this bottle of drug 13,223 to save my grandfather who had suddenly contracted Isrock. However, when we finally obtained it, my grandfather had already passed away. My father thoughtlessly tossed the bottle to me in his despair. Now, it belongs to me. If you agree to my request, then I will immediately give this bottle of drug 13223 to you. I agree. The Ling Chen who had immediately rejected Yun Feng now accepted with an even more determined tone. As long as he could save Shui Rua, he would do any work, bear any costs. Yun Feng was so excited after receiving Ling Chen's affirmation that he almost jumped out of his chair. He patted his heaving chest and said, "Heh, it's excellent you're able to agree, truly excellent. Speaking of which, you must be wondering why I would come to you to make this deal, right?" Ling Chen slightly nodded. He appeared calm, but how could he not be full of turmoil inside? Drug 13223, the thing he longed for even in his dreams, to think that it would fall right into his lap. Only, with something this valuable, could the conditions of this business deal really be simple? Yun Feng stood up, eyes looking up. The scene he could never forget seemingly appeared before him. He slowly spoke. 3 years ago, Yuntan Mountain, you, me, Eve. Ling Chen slightly paused. Then, the scene he had buried deep in his heart long ago surfaced. His face showed his astonishment. You. That year, you were the cycles of wind and snow who witnessed my battle with Eve? Yes. Yes. It's me, precisely me. Seeing that Ling Chen even remembered his name at the time, Yun Feng became thoroughly excited. What you don't know is, even though I didn't see who won and lost, after watching that fight I couldn't sleep well for 3 days. That was a true epic, legendary, ultimate battle. Before that I never thought in China there was someone who could fight Eve for so long without losing. Even luckier, at that time your mask had been knocked off by Eve, allowing me to see your face. But don't worry, even though I've been looking for you this whole time, I haven't told anybody about your circumstances. Even though I once told some of my friends someone capable of fighting with Eve has appeared in China. None of them believed me. To be honest, if I hadn't witnessed it myself that year and someone else had told me about it, I wouldn't have believed it either. Ling Chen sat down on the couch again, sighing in his heart. He finally understood why Yun Feng had such a fervent expression when he looked at him. Who knew that the swordsman who climbed Yuntan Mountain and happened to meet him and Eve 3 years ago in the world of Heaven Slaughter, was able to recognize him 3 years later and even took the initiative to find him and give him what he sought even in his dreams? Was this all fated? Was this God showing mercy to him, no longer forcing him and Shui Rua to part? As long as you can get drug 13223, I will agree to your conditions. But first, what exactly do you want me to do? Ling Chen asked. Don't worry, you are the only person who I have looked up to in my life. I definitely won't use the drug 13223 to blackmail you into committing atrocities. To tell the truth, I'm doing this for the same reason you are. Yun Feng sat down in front of Ling Chen again. He calmly spoke, just like you, I'm doing this for my little sister. My little sister's name is Yun Meng Xian. 3 years ago, the eldest son of a very powerful political family set his eyes on her, swearing in front of my father and his that he would marry nobody but her. That family really has a lot of power. If our families could link together, it would be of great help towards our family. At the time, this for my father, and for the family's elders was a huge surprise. My father promised on the spot to marry over Meng Xian when she turned 21, and so, my sister's marriage was decided like that, without asking for her opinion, and without the need to. Your sister doesn't want to? Ling Chen asked. To allow for the Yun family financial group to value so greatly this marriage, even feeling overwhelmed, exactly how great is this family's power? He also thought of silently, if his own sister Shui Rua was forcefully engaged in such a manner. Thinking up to there, his gaze grew cold, a strong killing intent flashing across his eyes. A random chill made Yun Feng shiver unnaturally. He felt his forehead, not thinking too much about it, more than just unwilling, she'd practically rather die. At the time her reaction wasn't so strong, but over the years she had been observing this person. Really, if you look at his looks, his family background, his ability, the behavior that he displays, he could almost be considered a perfect human. But, that person is very conniving, and completes objectives at any cost, a ruthless figure, especially, he only sees women as playthings. My sister 100% refuses to spend the remainder of her life with such a person, strongly fighting against this marriage. But my parents along with all of the family's elders are set on the marriage. They would never listen to her. If the marriage is successful, it would bring the clan great benefits that would continue for many years. If unsuccessful, it might even bring about revenge from that clan. Under such a contrast, why would they even pay attention to my sister's protests? Ultimately, all they think of my sister as is a trading product that can bring about huge benefits. How does this have any connections as to why you want me to join a gaming guild in Mystic Moon? Ling Chen asked. There is a huge relation. Yun Feng quickly said, because, that guild is founded by my sister, that is her last hope of fighting against the marriage, though, it's just that before meeting you, the chances were very slim. You're saying? My sister's personality has always been stubborn since she was little, under her increasingly intense resistance. 1 month ago, she and my father made a bet. A bet that for her, was essentially impossible for her to win. The conditions were set by my father, he said. If my sister could garner a reputation and fortune that could rival the entire Yun family financial group within 2 years, then, he will recognize that she has the power and freedom to decide her own future. No one will be able to interfere with her life anymore. If not, then she has to quietly follow the arrangements of the clan, marrying that person 2 years later, not allowed to have any complaints or resistance. The Yun family financial group has used at least 100 years to develop to its current state. To think that your father wants a girl to reach such a height within 2 years, who knew there was such a shameless bet in the world? Ling Chen gave a laugh of disdain. Indeed, not only that, everyone in the clan, including me, including all financial and political relations, are not permitted to give her any financial help or conveniences. Everything has to depend on her. The reason my father did so, really was so that my sister would give up all hope. But, that stubborn little sister of mine, Sil agreed. The family cut off all her sources of income. Her final decision, and what could be said as her only choice, is the about to open world of Mystic Moon. Speaking to the end, Yunfeng's face revealed a pained expression. He couldn't forget how his dearest little sister would always show a strong, stubborn, yet deeply hidden lost and helpless expression. You want me to help your little sister? At this point, Ling Chen now completely understood the reason Yunfeng approached him. Yes. Yunfeng nods his head. Allowing her to have a fortune and reputation equal the Yun family financial group within 2 years, you think just because of me it can be done? Ling Chen asked without expression. I believe you can. If there is only one person in the entire world who can do it, I believe, it can only be you. Yunfeng said solemnly. And you believe me that much? Just how much do you understand me? Simply because you saw that battle 3 years ago against Xiaohua? I believe my eyesight, I especially believe in my ability to judge people. To be honest, having you join my sister's guild, I also have my own motives. I've always want to witness once more the figure that you displayed, allowing everyone to know that we China have a god-class player who is equal to Xiaohua, making the Western players no longer able to look down on us. 3 years, this dream of mine has never gone away. Speaking to the last part, Yunfeng's eyes became more and more fervent. TL, such nationalism, it almost brings a tear to my eyes. Ling Chen's incredibly acute hearing picked up the breathing that was becoming a bit less even in the next room. He knew that the sleeping Shui Rua was already awake. He said, I understand now, at the right time, take me to see her, I will join her guild, and then help her as you wished. Okay. Yunfeng nods his head, so excited that the palm of his hands were covered in sweat. He stuck his hands in his pocket, taking out a tightly sealed metallic little box, placing it in front of Ling Chen. Inside is the 13,223 drug, the code is 08177180, I swear on my pride and honor, it is absolutely not fake. The little metallic box was held within Ling Chen's hands. Yunfeng could clearly see his hands trembling excitedly. He was holding the box so carefully, as if it was a brittle piece of glass that would break if touched. He truly saw his sister as more important than his life. Even though she is infected with a terminal disease, her father dead, but with a brother like this, she is still happy. Yunfeng silently thought. Ling Chen lifted his head, looking at Yunfeng, the coldness in his eyes gone. He asked, giving it to me right now, are you not afraid that I will go back on my promise? Are you not afraid that I am a bad person, who will repay your kindness with evil? Yunfeng smiled, an apex master who can fight evenly with Xiaohua, a person that can take care of his Israk-infected sister without ever leaving her side. Would he be a promise-breaking, ungrateful low-life? I believe you, and believe my eyesight and heart. Ling Chen stood up, extending his hand towards Yunfeng, giving him an absolute promise, "You will not regret the words that you said today." Yunfeng extended his hand and grasped Ling Chen's, gaining his promise. His heart was very excited. "I too believe, I will not regret today's decision. But, before this, I have 2 additional conditions," Ling Chen said. "Huh?" Ling Chen's expression became serious again. "First, even though I will join your sister's guild, I will not meet her IRL, I will also not use my true face to meet people, you also cannot tell anyone anything related to me. I don't want the peace of me and my sister to be disturbed." "No problem." Yunfeng patted his chest saying, before coming here, he already thought that Ling Chen would have such a request. He believed that with his ability, if he entered the world of Mystic Moon, his name would for sure spread across the entire world within a short time. If he didn't hide his identity, his life would not be peaceful. Maybe he can disregard it, but based on the level of care he has for his sister, he would for sure not allow such a thing to happen. Secondly, me and my sister will join the guild together," Ling Chen continued saying. Obviously this is even less of a problem." Yunfeng let out a small breath of relief. The 2 conditions that Ling Chen proposed couldn't even be considered conditions. Adding an additional person, he couldn't be happier. "Give me a strand of you and your sister's hair or something, this afternoon, I will personally bring over the gaming equipment." "Oh right, do you guys prefer a necklace or bracelet?" The gaming equipment for Mystic Moon was split as 2 types, necklace and bracelet. You can directly put it around your neck or wear it on your wrist. The appearance is that of a small, intricate accessory. When gaming there is no need for internet connection, no need for any complicated controls. When gaming all you need to do is lie flat, and then close your eyes saying the command to enter the game. At the same time, the gaming device does not need to be recharged. Even if you are in the game 24/7, the internal charge is more than enough to last 50 years and above. "Bracelet," Ling Chen replied. "Okay." Yunfeng snapped his fingers. Initially he came very nervous, but the process was more successful than he anticipated. He not only gained Ling Chen's acceptance, but also his promise. Accepting and a promise, those are 2 entirely different concepts. All of it originated from the love that Ling Chen had towards his sister that surpassed everything. Of course, there is also the unconditional trust that he demonstrated towards Ling Chen. Can I have your number?" "Don't have one." "Oh, okay, I'll deliver 2 cell phones on the side in the afternoon, don't worry, it will the ones where the electromagnetic radiation is so small that you can completely ignore it." Taking over the DNA samples that Ling Chen gave, Yunfeng looked at the time, standing up saying, "Then, I will go prepare right now. I believe that you can save my sister, and will make the entire world change their expression because of us China." Ling Chen smiled, "Go do what you need to." Walking Yunfeng out of the house, from beginning to end, Ling Chen was always carefully holding the metallic box that carried the 13,223 drug, as if scared that the moment it left his hands it would disappear. Seeing Yunfeng out the door, as he was about to return, Yunfeng suddenly turned around, and then slowly said a sentence, "Sigh, little sisters with big brothers really are blessed." Ling Chen. Opening the door, he saw that Ling Shui Ruo was already sitting on the bed, looking at him with an angelic smile. "Brother, who was that big brother just now? It seems like he told brother some impressive things. It's really rare to see brother so excited." Ling Chen could practically hear his racing heartbeat. Up until now, he still felt like he was in a dream. He sat beside Ling Shui Ruo, carefully placing the box on his knees. This was not a simple container. What he held in his hands is the last hope to save the most cherished person in his life, a hope that when he was approaching despair, came from the heavens. He has never like this moment thanked the heavens, thanked a person. Even though Yunfeng gave him the 13223 drug under the form of a trade, but if it really can save Shui Ruo's life, he will remember this kindness for his entire life, and will definitely complete his promise. Even though, rivaling the Yun family financial group within 2 years was really an overly large goal. According to the code that Yun Feng gave, Ling Chen slowly opened the container. Inside was a small, brown bottle as thick as a middle finger. Through the bottle, he saw the slightly swashing liquid within. Taking out this little bottle that could save Shui Ruo's life, Ling Chen used the lightest movements to slowly take of the cap. Instantly, a strange smell wafted outwards. Ling Chen's hands slightly trembled. He placed the little bottle at Shui Ruo's lips, saying softly, "Here, Ruo Ruo, hurry up and drink it." Two small, soft hands grasped Ling Chen's hands. Only now did Ling Chen realize, Ling Shui Ruo, who was just smiling, now covered her face in tears. She lightly said, "Is this what brother traded from that big brother? It can let me live until the day that I marry brother?" Ling Chen heavily nods his head, and then immediately shakes it. "Not only can it allow Ruo Ruo to live until the day that you marry brother, you will also make a complete recovery, being able to always stay with brother, until the day we grow old and leave." Ling Shui Ruo agreed with the most determined voice, bringing up her brother's hand, opening her lips, allowing the cold liquid to fall through her teeth drop by drop. Drinking it down, "I really won't die, I won't need to leave brother. Is it that even heaven is unable to bear separating me and brother? I'm not afraid of dying, but I am afraid of a world without brother, even more afraid of the pain and loneliness brother will feel after I leave. These 3 years, brother used almost all of his time accompanying me, giving up so many things. Actually, I always knew, brother has a lot of dreams, has a lot of things that he likes and wants to do, but for me, he gave them all up. Brother's kindness, I could never return it in my entire life. If I really do get better, then, until the day that I die, I will always live for only brother, helping brother to whatever he wants to do. Even if one day brother becomes a horrible person that everybody hates and spits upon, I will always be by brother's side, never leaving his side. Brother, it's you that gave me the reason to endure until now. After today, you will continue to be the only reason that I live in this world." The last drop of cold liquid tilted into her mouth. She closed her lips, swallowing the bitter liquid. She then opened her eyes, revealing the loveliest smile towards Ling Chen. Ling Chen watched her finish drinking the medicine without ever taking his eyes off of her. Taking aside the empty bottle and container, he held Shui Ruo's shoulders, asking concernedly, "Ruo Ruo, do you have some kind of special feeling?" Ling Shui Ruo smiled softly, "Brother, this isn't an elixir, it wouldn't have such a fast effect, although, it seems like my body has a sort of hot feeling. Lie down first, what you need the most right now is rest. Who knows, when you wake up, maybe you'll already be able to get down the bed yourself and walk." Putting down Shui Ruo's body, pulling up the covers, Ling Chen said so smiling. "Definitely." Ling Shui Ruo smiled happily, "That Yun Feng big brother, he is a very good person, right?" Ling Chen was silent for a bit, nodding his head. From his eyes, I couldn't see any falsity. "Or else, I wouldn't have let you drink that medicine so assuredly." "Then, brother will do as you promised him, go inside that game world, and help that Meng Xian big sister, right?" Shui Ruo continued asking. Although, I will not leave behind Ruo Ruo, no matter where I am, I will always accompany Ruo Ruo." Xia Hua, Ling Chen said this name under his breath, scenes of impossible to forget images appearing in his mind. She is a scary person, in a lot of ways. She is even scarier than the Isrock virus. She is the globally recognized god among players. God? Shui Ruo blinked her eyes. Then did brother beat her in the end? Ling Chen shook his head. No, there's also probably no one in this world that can defeat her, although, I didn't lose either. 3 years ago, inside of the game Heaven Slaughter, I challenged her to a fight. The location was chosen at Dark Cloud Mountain where regular players would for sure be unable to climb. While we were fighting, unexpectedly, a player climbed up. It is that Yun Feng was just came to our house. his game name at the time was called Luan Hui Feng Shui. Fighting against Xiahua, I couldn't even be distracted, same with Xiahua, so none of us paid attention to him, and allowed him to witness the battle between me and Xiahua. In between, the mask I was wearing was destroyed by Xiahua with a weapon that could destroy equipment, allowing Xiahua and Yunfeng to see my face, TL, OP, and then angry that Xiahua destroyed my mask. I grabbed her really hard on the butt, and then turned and ran. Thinking of the image at that time, Ling Chen gave a smug laugh. Obviously, his quick, perverted action was not seen by Yunfeng, or else, maybe he would worship him even more. Someone with the balls to touch Xiaohua's butt, you probably couldn't find a second person in the world. TL, because revenge is always sweetest from behind. Ha! Shui Ruo laughed, covering her mouth. And then, Xiahua kept chasing. Yunfeng also followed behind us running for his life, but his speed was far worse than ours. He was quickly left behind by us. After that, Yunfeng didn't know what happened. I probably ran for about half an hour, finally still getting caught up by Xiahua. Her gaze at that moment, she really wished she could chop me into 17, 18 pieces. When I thought we were going to fight again. Heaven's Slaughter suddenly required maintenance, we were kicked offline. After that, until this day, I have yet to meet her again. Although, his voice paused for a bit, an incredibly complex expression flashing across his face, I guess she's probably still looking for me right now. Ling Shui Ruo laughed, so Xiahua is a girl, brother took advantage of her, of course she has to find brother and get some payback. When brother is in Mystic Moon, you'll have to be careful. Already forgetting how long ago being able to laugh so light-heartedly. All these years, Isrock has always been weighing on their hearts like a terrifying nightmare, and today, they could finally say goodbye to this nightmare, even if it's just a temporary farewell. TL surprised face. 0, while laughing, they took in the fresh air and the bright sunlight from outside, in their hearts, quietly sketching a beautiful future. Mystic Moon. In the afternoon near the evening, Yunfeng, covered in sweat, delivered the game devices that belonged to Ling Chen and Ling Shui Ruo, at the same time bringing them each a communications device, even paying the communication fees. Ling Chen did not refuse, accepting it all. Before, to avoid worsening Shui Ruo's condition, he never used cell phones, this kind of thing that has comparatively strong electromagnetic radiation. But now, if the Isrock virus in Shui Ruo's body completely enters stasis, even using it often wouldn't be a problem. Don't forget, the day after tomorrow, 9 o'clock in the morning. Oh right, even though you can't enter the game right now, but you can already create your character. After creating it, remember to tell me your name. Yunfeng told him before leaving. Ling Chen's and Shui Ruo's game devices were both a small and exquisite bracelet, Ling Chen's red, Ling Shui Ruo's aqua blue, also with a watch feature. So character creation is already open? Ling Shui Ruo was already quietly asleep. Ling Chen played around with the device for a while, finally lying on the couch, closing his eyes, using his thoughts to enter the command to enter the game. Instantly, the game device on his wrist briefly flashed a bright light. In front of Ling Chen became a white space, his mind dazed for an instant, and then suddenly brightened. A world of intertwining colored lights presented itself in front of Ling Chen's eyes. In the colorful world, a small and exquisite figure was flying towards him. That is a rainbow-colored magic wand in hand, wearing rainbow-colored clothes, little fairy only as big as a palm, accompanied by a sweet, crisp teenage girl's voice. How do you do, Mr. Ling Chen? Welcome to the world of Mystic Moon. Until the world of Mystic Moon opens, there is still the last 39 hours and 42 minutes, please wait patiently. This is your first time using the game device, do you want to create your character? Oh right, forgot to introduce myself, I am the smartest and cutest number 52,000 receptionist fairy. The Mystic Moon world is a vast, beautiful world. Inside are kind citizens, cute animals, ferocious monsters, and countless secrets waiting to be uncovered. I believe that Mr. Ling Chen will definitely fall in love with that place. Then, let's start creating Mr. Ling Chen's identity within Mystic Moon's world. But you need to pay attention. Once a character is created, it will be impossible to make changes, so you need to be cautious. Inside of the public promotions for Mystic Moon, there is a point that is clearly described, that is in the world of Mystic Moon there is no chance to restart. Saying it more straightforwardly, it is that there is no saying of being able to delete your account and relevel like in previous virtual reality games. Regardless of nickname, initial stats, class, once picked, it can never be changed. So, before entering Mystic Moon, it becomes necessary to think about the direction of your class, because there is no second chance to pick. Then, please create your nickname first, because of the fact that your game region is in the China region, only Chinese characters are allowed, and cannot be less than 1 character and more than 10. The receptionist fairy used her crisp, sweet voice to say. Ling. Tian, above the heavens, wow, what a domineering name, Mr. Ling Chen, I like your name. Although, because China's players are the most numerous, so it's also the easiest for nicknames to repeat, please allow me to first check if there is someone else that is already using this name. Yeah. Mr. Ling Chen, you're so lucky, this name has yet to be taken, your name in Mystic Moon will be Ling Tian, are you sure? Yes. Ling Tian was successfully named. Then, next up is the pain reception rate option. The pain reception rate is the amount if pain felt when a player is hurt in combat. Pay attention, it is only in combat, non-combat related bodily or physical contact will not be affected, and will only affect pain reception, no other senses will be affected. The choices for the pain reception rate ranges from 10% to 100%. High numbers are suitable for players looking for excitement and realism, but when attacked it will hurt a lot, those afraid of pain shouldn't pick it. Any low ranges can reduce the pain to very low, but there are also disadvantages, such as when being attacked they will be unable to perform quick reactions. What is your choice? 10%. Ling Chen replied without any hesitation. He was entering the game to fulfill a promise, not to suffer. Only someone sick in the head would pick a high pain reception, and then torture themselves to death in a game world of fighting and killing. Pain reception rate successfully set. Next will be the initial stats choice. After the fairy's voice, a wide stat page floated in front of Ling Chen's eyes. On top were listed strength, constitution, agility, spirit. These 4 options. Each player has 25 initial stat points. They can freely distribute them to strength, constitution, agility, spirit. These 4 basic stats, each stat's minimum is 5, maximum is 10. Within, strength affects physical attack strength, constitution affection vitality and defense ability, agility affects hit rate and dodge, along with bow, pierce related classes attack strength, spirit affects magic attack strength and mana. Each attribute has different influences towards different classes. Please choose wisely according to the path that you wish for your class to go in. 25 stat points, each attribute needs to be at least 5 points, which also means that there are only 5 points that can be freely distributed. Standing in front of the stat page, Ling Chen thought for a long time, taking a step forward, increasing strength to 10, constitution, agility, spirit all staying at 5. In Heaven Slaughter, the class he picked was the killer line of the assassin class, that was also the class that suited him most. Assassins have what could be said as the strongest single-target battle strength. They can take a life in an instant without leaving a trace. But the flaws of the assassin are also very evident. That is their weak vitality and unspectacular group battle ability. The stats that he chose determined that in the world of Mystic Moon he would be a warrior-related class. Because this time he is not entering Mystic Moon to simply play, but to support a guild created by a girl. Peak single-target battle strength kind of doesn't seem fitting. Initial stats successfully distributed. Next, please distribute your innate stats. Each player has 10 innate stats. They can be distributed to luck, comprehension. These 2 innate attributes. Each attribute at the least can be 0 and 10 at the most. Innate stats are very valuable attributes. Their upgrade can only be achieved through very rare items or special quests, and cannot be upgraded through leveling up or equipment stats. The luck attribute is related to your luck in the Mystic Moon world. It touches upon drop rates, critical hit rates, pierce rates, the success of sudden events and multiple other areas. Comprehension touches upon your ability to understand in the Mystic Moon world. The higher the comprehension, the ability to grasp including life skills will become stronger, upgrade-able skills will upgrade faster. Once more emphasizing, the upgrade of innate attributes is very hard in E, please distribute cautiously. Ling Chen thought for a bit, making luck and comprehension both 5. Innate attributes successfully distributed. Mr. Ling Chen, I really like your choice, whether it's solely chasing after extreme luck or comprehension, they are both not sensible. Initial stat distribution complete. Next up, is your novice class decision. The world of Mystic Moon has 7 total basic classes: Warrior, Shield Guard, Archer, Assassin, Priest, Mage, Summoner. According to the initial stats that you just distributed, it is recommended that you choose the warrior that relies most on the strength attribute, and has the strongest physical attack strength. Please pick Apprentice Warrior. Ling Chen directly responded. Apprentice Warrior class successfully chosen. The class you've chosen is Apprentice Warrior. Warriors have strong material attack strength and varied forms of attack along with comparatively strong physical defense ability, an important asset in close-range damage output. Their movement, hit rate and ability to dodge are comparatively weak. After the first class advance you can become a true warrior. A warrior's main stats are strength, constitution, and a bit of agility. For warriors, each point of strength can increase 2 points of physical attack strength, each point of constitution can increase 10 points of HP and 1 point of defense, each point in agility can increase 1 point of dodge rate and 1 point of hit rate, each point in spirit can increase 2 points of magic attack strength and 10 points of MP. TL, don't know what 1 point of hit rate and dodge rate does, but it doesn't really matter. You'll see. After the fairy's voice, a column of white light fell from the sky, enveloping Ling Chen's body. Very good, you have now successfully become an apprentice warrior. But, this is only your training class, it is not your final class. If you want to change classes after leaving Novice Village, you can do that too. Finally finishing another reception, the little fairy let out a long breath of relief, patting her small chest saying, Mr. Ling Chen, your identity in Mystic Moon has already been successfully created. From the opening of Mystic Moon there are still 39 hours, please wait patiently, then now, I'm going to lightly kick you out. Before Ling Chen could finish speaking, in front of him suddenly became black, the colorful world instantly fell apart. When he opened his eyes, what he saw was the house's roof. Sure. Ling Chen said helplessly. Initially he wanted to compliment the little fairy about how cute she was, and then obtain from her mouth some game-related knowledge and information. Who knew she was laughing happily at first, but then cleanly kicking him out later. Not disturbing Shui Ruo's sleep, Ling Chen started to pay attention to Mystic Moon-related information on the computer. But after an afternoon of research, the amount of data that he gathered was pitifully little. The line mentioned the most in public promotions was, countless mysteries, waiting for you to personally uncover. Xiaohua, hope I don't meet you again. Closing his eyes, Ling Chen said so in his heart. The second day, Yun Feng personally delivered again 2 of the most advanced life support machines. It can allow a person to stay in the game world continuously for 1 month without going offline. Even though they basically didn't need it, but Ling Chen did not refuse. He knew that an upper-class child like Yun Feng, these things couldn't even be considered a single hair from 9 oxen. But at least, he cared about him and his sister's situation. TL, Chinese idiom, same as, a drop in the ocean. Have you created your character yet? What's your name? Ling Tian. Ling Chen didn't hide it, directly telling him. Very domineering. Okay then, tomorrow we'll meet in the game. I'll contact you again at that time. Oh right, the effects of that 13223 drug will only take effect after 4-5 days, don't worry, especially don't think that I've tricked you. Yunfeng didn't forget to mention before leaving. Shui Ruo's body was still weak, all movement depended on Ling Chen. Ling Chen believed that Yunfeng didn't trick him, and also waited for the day that Shui Ruo completely recovered. Night time. Every night, Shui Ruo would only be able to sleep peacefully leaning against his chest. After Shui Ruo fell asleep, Ling Chen gently gets up, opening the door, coming to the veranda, lifting his head, looking towards the crescent moon in the sky. A gust of cold air swept across his face, moonlight flowing downwards, a black figure appearing by his side. That black figure knelt at his side, lowering his head towards him. Guaya, Ghost Fang, tomorrow, I will enter Mystic Moon. The black figure shook a bit. Go now. The black figure stood up, jumping from the veranda, disappearing in the pitch-black night without stopping. From beginning to end, there were only 2 lines of short interchange. But, that was already more than enough. Under the world's countless players eager awaiting, the day of July 7, 3100 finally arrived. The minute hand slowly approached morning 9 o'clock. At 9, Mystic Moon will open towards the entire world. TL, welp, that about does it for the intro. Time to witness how goddamn mother freaking OP the MC is and watch him build up his harem. I will definitely get better quickly. Ling Shui Ruo nods her head heavily, a smile of hope and longing on her face. After Ling Shui Ruo falls asleep, the opening of the Mystic Moon world is also entering its final countdown. Ling Chen glances at the time, lying on the living room sofa, closing his eyes, and entering the command to enter the game. Immediately, the colorful world appeared in front of his eyes again, a similar little fairy flying over towards him. How do you do, Mr. Ling Chen? Welcome to your arrival. I am receptionist fairy number 96388. Your identity in Mystic Moon has already been created. From the opening of Mystic Moon there is still the last minute. Please wait patiently. There are still the last 30 seconds. Please wait patiently. There are still the last 20 seconds. Please wait patiently. 10, 9, 8, 3, 2, 1. Mr. Ling Chen, welcome to the world of Mystic Moon. You have been allocated to Novice Village number 49554. I wish you a happy game experience. After the receptionist fairy's voice, in front of Ling Chen became a spiraling scene, the scenery before his eyes quickly changing. When his vision finally became clear, he was already in the Novice Village. At the same time, noisy sounds that made his eardrums hurt were coming from the side of his ears. Random white lights constantly flashed around him. Every second there were large amounts of players being sent to surrounding places. Taking a look, besides people there were only people. In total the China region set up 100,000 novice villages. It is the battle area with the most novice villages in the world, but due to the fact that the population of China was simply too great, even with 100,000 novice villages it was pretty damn cramped. Right now the time is exactly 9 a.m., practically all the players want to squeeze in at the first moment, one step first, each step first. This is commonly known knowledge. TL, basically, if you get ahead, it's easier to continue maintaining a lead, squeezing your uncle. Do you believe that I'll chop you into pieces? I wipe, TL, fuck, don't ask, which bastard stepped on my foot, cough cough, hey beauty, fate, fate I say. Wanna be friends? TL, Chinese netizens have a habit of replacing words with other words that sound the same. In this case the word for fate sounds similar to ape dung and that is what is placed. You try pushing me one more time. I'm Wild Dog Gang's third master's big brother-in-law's neighbor's Uncle Zhang's son-in-law. Do you not want to live anymore? Stop squeezing, stop squeezing. Achichich, let me out, let me get out. World's #1 haul recruiting people. As long as you join us, world's #1 haul, money, women, equipment, you'll have it all. Also we will gift our master's autographed picture. This chance cannot be missed. If missed it will not come again. TL, Chinese idiom. All kinds of mixed-up voices beside his ears made Ling Chen want to cover his ears. He took a deep breath in, pumping his legs, forcefully pushing through the crowd, jogging towards the village area. Leaving the crowd, Ling Chen let out a small breath. The air here was a little too clean, breathing became a pleasant enjoyment. Looking forward, this village only had a few buildings, there were also only a few NPCs standing outside. Even though it was humble, but it didn't give people a rundown feeling, contrarily giving a new feeling and being pleasant to look at. Arriving at a considerably quiet corner, Ling Chen started to look at what he was wearing. Unsurprisingly, at the beginning of the game, everyone only has a body of rough, broken clothes. Upper body a rough cloth shirt, lower body rough cloth long pants, a pair of dry straw shoes on the feet. Novice cloth shirt, type, upper garment, equipment requirements, none, grade, pale white, attributes, defense +2. Novice long pants, type, lower garment, equipment requirements, none, grade, pale white, attributes, defense +2. Novice straw shoes, type, shoe, equipment requirements, none, grade, pale white, attributes, defense +1. Okay then, added together the additional stats was only 5 points of defense. Ling Chen then checked his backpack. At the beginning of the game, a player's bag only has 50 storage spaces. At the moment inside quietly laid 2 pieces of equipment, a thin, long sword, a simple, unadorned bracelet. Novice short sword, type, single-hand sword, equipment requirements, none, grade, pale white, attributes, physical attack +5. Having a novice weapon is pretty regular. But, a bracelet? Mystic Moon also generously gives this kind of accessory at the beginning of the game. It needs to be known that, in almost all virtual reality games, rings, bracelets, earrings, necklaces, these types of accessories have a very small drop rate. Its value is obviously the greatest. Some players having a full set of good gear, but not a single accessory is a common scene. And a bracelet as a beginner equipment, this type of situation is the first time. Ling Chen picked up the bracelet. From the feel of it, it can basically be determined as being made of regular metal. In the middle there are 2 pinky nail-sized holes. Looking around it, Ling Chen looked towards its stats. Metal bracelet, type, Moon God bracelet, equipment requirements, none, grade, pale white. The lowest grade Moon God bracelet forged from iron. It can hold 2 medium grade or lower energy crystals, cannot equip energy orbs, maximum slots, 2, Looking through the description a couple times, Ling Chen was confused. Moon God bracelet? What type of equipment is this? Why have I never heard of it before? Is it a new type of equipment that appeared in these few years that I haven't touched virtual reality games? Or is it Mystic Moon's exclusive equipment? Ling Chen's eyes fell upon the 2 little holes, silently thinking, the slots mentioned in the description, does it mean slotting into these 2 small holes? Examining it for a while, Ling Chen didn't waste any more time. Equipping the novice short sword and iron bracelet, he then looked towards his initial stats. Character, Ling Tian level, 0 class, apprentice warrior faction, none fame, 0, money, 0 basic attributes, strength, 10, constitution, 5, agility, 5, spirit, 5 innate attributes, luck, 5, comprehension, 5 HP, 50 MP, 50 physical attack strength, 25 magic attack strength, 10 physical defense, 10 hit rate, 5, dodge rate, 5 critical hit rate, 5%, pierce rate, 5%, TL, ignore defense, attack speed, 100%, movement speed, 100% elemental resistance, water, 0%, fire, 0%, wind, 0%, lightning, 0%, earth, 0%, light, 0%, darkness, 0% skills, scan, current level, LV1, cannot be upgraded. An ability for all classes, MP consumption, 1, examine the basic stats of creatures no higher than yourself by 10 levels. Full Power Strike, Current Level, LV1, Highest Level, LV5. Points to upgrade to LV2, 1. Beginner Skill for Apprentice Warriors, using the weapon in the hand to strike at the target in front with all your strength, 110% damage, MP consumption, 3. Cooldown time, 1 second. The stats were regular, the free points for initial stats all went into strength, and so physical attack stat was a bit higher. There are only 2 skills, one is a global class scan ability, one is a beginner attack skill that is complete garbage. If it was just horrible damage then whatever, but it even had a 1 second cooldown. TL, what? Cooldown times can get lower 0.0, lifting his heading looking towards the area that he initially appeared in, it was already flooded with an even more exaggerated crowd of people. The majority of players that appeared looked for the village exit at the first moment, and then rushing towards the low-level novice farming grounds, evidently wanting their levels to be above everyone else's. Guess I'll take a look around the novice village first. Ling Chen said under his breath, walking towards those couple of small, humble houses. The old village chief stood in the middle of the village, dealing with one after another player. Ling Chen walked over, saying politely, "How do you do, chief? Is there anything that I can help with?" As virtual reality gaming technology reached its peak, etiquette towards the game world's NPCs became general knowledge. The novice village chief stroked his white beard, saying kindly, "Hello, warrior that comes from another world, may the moon god protect you. Newly arriving in this world, your heart must be filled with confusion, then, please allow me to first explain to you some of this mysterious world's basic knowledge. Ding. You have activated the quest, Village Chief's Lesson. The chief will explain to you some of Mystic Moon's world's basic knowledge. Quest type, normal. Quest difficulty, none. Quest time limit, none. Quest reward, red potion 5, 1 skill point, random beginner energy crystal 1. Do you accept? TL, not sure if chance to receive one or of random type. Doesn't matter since we all know what happens if it's the first case. Is there even a need to think? Ling Chen directly chose accept. Excellent. The chief nods his head satisfied, and then starts to explain. Mystic Moon's world is a vast and rich world, the main land shaped similarly to a crescent moon. The entire world is 20% land, 80% water. On land there are countless lifeforms along with infinite resources. At the moment the largest races on land are the human race and beast race. Humans are kind and simple, smart and hardworking, currently taking the leading position on land. The beast race is or gentle, or cruel. Also, in mysterious places, there are also other special races. There is the god race established by the moon god lineage. They control the balance of the entire mystic moon world, including the peace of the world. Currently the leaders of the god race are the 3 goddesses Order, Freedom, and Fate. They possess power humans cannot even dream of. But they are not without enemies, that is the fiend race, always restless, fighting against the god race since ages past. In addition, there is also the demon race that is spread across the world's corners, their actions good and evil, the peace-loving elves, with the most beautiful appearances, the undead race that exists within dark corners. Besides them, the world of Mystic Moon is for sure hiding other mysterious, unknown races. All of this requires you people to personally find and discover. Ling Chen, this is the basic background of Mystic Moon. If you want to know more, you will need to look for it yourself. Please allow me to describe to you some necessary knowledge for adventuring. Then, let's start from the basic attributes first. Strength, Constitution, Agility, Spirit are the 4 basic stats along with luck and comprehension, these 2 innate attributes. I believe that the girls from the fairy race have already given you detailed explanations. Those are the most basic ability names. I don't think I need to explain more. Allow me to first explain to you the rules of damage colors that appear in battle. Damaging the target, or when being damaged, normally a red damage number will appear. If a critical strike is activated, it will deal double damage. the color of the damage that appears will be yellow. If a pierce attack is activated, then, the damage you do will ignore defense, the damage that appears will be blue. Against high defense targets, the effect of the pierce strike is quite impressive. If both critical and pierce is activated, then, purple damage will appear. Critical pierce strike, at a lot of times will be a miracle strike that can turn around an unfavorable situation. In addition, there is also a very rare black-colored damage, that only appears when the insta-kill effect activates. Although, a cheat attribute like insta-kill besides undead creature, pretty much won't appear. TLGUH, I hate this, elemental resistance, is regarding the ability to resist the associated element. The resistance number represents the ratio that the associated element is reduced by. For example, when resistance is 50%, damage can be reduced by 50%, when resistance is 100%, then you can be immune to this type of element, although such a situation is almost impossible for a human. If resistance surpasses 100%, for example reaching 125%, then, the associated element will not only not cause harm, on the other hand it will absorb the 25% damage and transfer it to health. Also, if your personal element is suppressed by another element, that there is a chance for a negative resistance to appear for a certain element. For instance, if resistance towards the fire element is -50%, then when suffering from a fire-based attack damage received will be 150%, if it's -100%, then damage received will be 200%. Using the element that suppresses to attack the target will obtain an effect of double the result for half the work. Chinese idiom, the village chief slightly paused for a bit, taking a few breaths, continuing to say, in regards to attributes, is there anything else that you don't understand? Ling Chen though for a bit, shaking his head, and then raising his right hand, Chief, what kind of equipment is this moon god bracelet? God damn it, what is there to think about? Do you not math? Sigh, the village chief smiled warmly, this is just what I was about to explain to you. The moon god bracelet was invented by the moon god clan a long time ago. It can bestow upon humans additional strength. The moon god bracelet itself has no attributes, but can be slotted with energy crystals or energy orbs, and take the power from the crystal or orb bestowing it upon the wearer. See, your iron bracelet here has 2 holes, those are used to slot in energy crystals or energy orbs. According to the strength of the energy crystal, they can be split into 5 grades: beginner, elementary, intermediate, advanced, and ultimate. Because the ability of this moon god bracelet is too low, at most it can only be slotted with intermediate power crystals, and at most only 2. In the future in your adventures, you will for sure be able to see some high-grade moon god bracelets that can be slotted with more and higher-grade energy crystals or even energy orbs. They say, on Forgotten Continent there once appeared a moon god bracelet that had 7 slots, although, sigh, I don't have the fortune of seeing such a legendary item in my lifetime. What are energy orbs? Ling Chen interrupted. The chief's voice paused for a moment, and then continued saying, then, let me teach you how to use the moon god bracelet. Right now, I will give you a beginner energy crystal. What you need to do, is slot it into the moon god bracelet in your hand. After the chief's voice, a prompt sound rang beside his ear, ****. You have gained a randomly attributed energy crystal from the village chief of Novice Village number 49554, please slot it into your moon god bracelet. Ling Chen opened his bag, inside was added a small exquisite red crystal. Picking up the crystal, Ling Chen felt puzzled, this crystal as big as a thumb, how could it slot into the small hole on the moon god bracelet? Beginner critical crystal, type, energy crystal, grade, beginner, attribute, fire, effect, critical rate plus 2%, hehe, looks like your luck is pretty good, getting the energy crystal that can boost crit rate. Then, slot it into the moon god bracelet, you only need to bring it close to the moon god bracelet. The chief said laughingly. Increasing crit rate by 2%, it is a pretty good attribute. The most elementary power crystals already had such an effect, then higher grades, and then orbs that are even more powerful than crystals. Ling Chen picked up the fire-red crystal, slowly bringing it to the hole on the iron bracelet. On contact, a beam of red light flashed by, a system prompt slotting successful ringing by his ears. The power stone in his hand disappeared. The iron bracelet that initially had 2 empty holes, one of them was now filled by a red crystal. Opening his stat page, his crit rate had suddenly become 7%. You've done very well. Elementary energy crystals and moon god bracelets can be bought in the corresponding stores, but high-grade energy crystals and moon god bracelets, along with energy orbs, can only be obtained through other means, such as killing powerful monsters. I believe in your future adventures you will find stronger moon god bracelets and energy crystals. Maybe you'll even be able to obtain very valuable energy orbs. Also, you need to remember, the same moon god bracelet cannot be slotted with 2 of the same energy crystal or energy orb with the same effect. For instance, your moon god bracelet already has an energy crystal that increases crit rate, which means, no matter how many free slots your moon god bracelet has, you can no longer add any energy crystals or orbs that increase crit rate. You should now understand how to use the moon god bracelet. Now let me explain to you the rules for skills. The chief proceeded to say, the basic rules for skills you must already know. What I'm going to explain is only the rules for skill upgrading and advancing. The greatest advantage of humans is their high intelligence and great hidden potential. As long as you have enough potential, you can make the same skill exhibit an even stronger power. Right now you are an apprentice warrior, then, you must have a beginner skill, full power strike. Its level is LV1, but you only need 1 skill point. It can then be upgraded to LV2, possessing an even stronger power. Right now, I will use the power bestowed upon me by the moon god to give you a skill point. Please put it into full power strike. Finishing his speech, the chief waved his hands. Immediately, a white light fell from the sky, falling upon Ling Chen, gone in a flash. Ding. You have gained 1 skill point. Please put it into full power strike. Ling Chen saw, an additional attribute had appeared on his stat page, SP1. Without wasting time, Ling Chen put this skill point that he just got into his only upgradable skill, full power strike. Right away, a white light flashed on his body. Ding. Your skill, full power strike, has successfully upgraded to LV2. Full power strike, current level, LV2, highest level, LV5. Points to upgrade to LV3, 5, beginner skill for apprentice warriors, using the weapon in the hand to strike at the target in front with all your strength, 120% damage, MP consumption, 4, cooldown time, 0 seconds. After full power strike's upgrade, its damage was increased to 120%, even the cooldown decreased to 0. Only the MP consumption increased by that 1 point, 1 upgrade. Who knew that it could have such a huge improvement? But Ling Chen sat there quietly listening, not missing a word. SP can only be gained by killing elite and above monsters. This is indeed overly harsh. At the same time, it will also result in a consequence. Elite and boss monsters that were already being fought over, in Mystic Moon will be fought over even more fiercely. High-grade monsters means high-grade equipment, and more important than equipment, are skills. It can be foreseen, areas that can easily spawn high-grade boss monsters will definitely be fought over to the death. The chief rested his throat, only then saying, "Young man, it is rare for you to quietly listen to me say so much. Young ones with patience like you are already very good. Come, take this, these should be able to help you in your adventures." Ding. You have successfully completed the quest Village Chief's lesson. The rewards of an energy crystal and SP have already been administered, gained red medicine 5. Because you completely listened to the Village Chief's words, extra reward, scan scroll 1. Huh. There's also extra rewards? Surprisingly, patiently listening to the novice lesson had an extra reward, and it's even a scroll. It needs to be known, scrolls this type of thing have a drop rate of who knows how many times lower than equipment. Ling Chen felt as though we was seeing a large pie slowly drop from the sky. TL, Chinese idiom. Pie falling from the sky, means something good happening out of nowhere. Opening his bag, sure enough there were 2 extra things. Red potion, the lowest grade HP recovery potion, heals 100 HP after use, cooldown time, 5 seconds, scan scroll, a scroll with the ability to scan, after use, detailed information for monsters no higher than your level by 30 can be gained. So it's a scroll to scan the information of monsters. Ling Chen took back his focus, politely saying to the chief, "Thank you chief, is there anything else I can help with?" "There is." The chief nods his head, and then says in melancholy, "Recently, a group of strange rabbits have appeared around the periphery of the village. They have sharp teeth, regularly attacking people. Can you help me exterminate that group of rabbits, and bring back their teeth? ****. You have activated the quest, Village Chief's Request 1, Quest Description. Collect 10 teeth from buck-toothed rabbits and give them to the village chief. Quest type, normal. Quest time limit, none. Quest reward, 100 EXP, 1 silver. Do you accept?" "Accept." Ling Chen directly accepted. The chief nods his head satisfactorily, then, "I will wait here for your good news." "Oh right, before that, you best check out the general store and smithy. The item store's old Wang and the smithy's old Tai should have some stuff that requires your help." "Oh right, there's one thing you need to pay attention to, that house, do not get close." The chief extended his hand, pointing behind him. Following the chief's finger, Ling Chen saw a rundown small, straw house. That straw house was in the most obscure spot, and it was also the dirtiest house. Ling Chen took back his gaze, revealing a quizzical look. Inside lives a scary lunatic. From the day we saw him, he was in that abnormal state. Although it's good that he usually just hides in the house not willing to leave. If at whatever moment you see him come out, you must not get close to him. The chief said with a serious face. "Okay, thank you chief." Parting from the village chief, Ling Chen jogged along the way, coming to the center of the village, walking into the item store. He first flipped through the items being sold here. Red potion. Price, 1 copper, orange potion, low-grade HP recovery potion, heals 200 HP after use, cooldown time, 5 seconds. Price, 3 copper, yellow potion, low-grade HP recovery potion, heals 400 HP after use, cooldown time, 5 seconds. Price, 1 silver. Blue potion, low-grade MP recovery potion, heals 100 HP after use, cooldown time, 5 seconds. Price, 2 copper. In Mystic Moon's world, 1 gold equals 10 silver equals 100 copper. These recovery potions, along with their increasing recovery ability, their prices also show a considerable jump. And these are just what players at the moment can barely buy. Below are a bunch of items that normal payers can't afford to buy. Beginner Strength Stone, type, Energy Crystal, grade, beginner, attribute, fire, effect, physical attack strength plus 3%. Price, 20 gold. Beginner Magic Stone, type, Energy Crystal, grade, beginner, attribute, water, effect, magic attack strength plus 3%. Price, 20 gold. Beginner Health Stone, type, Energy Crystal, grade, beginner, attribute, water, effect, HP plus 3%. Price, 20 gold. Beginner Dodge Stone. Beginner Pierce Stone. As the chief said, the general store sold some low-grade energy crystals, but the most beginner crystals were already sold at 20 gold. 20 gold for players at the beginning of the game was an astronomical number. The most beginner crystals were already sold at such a price. What kind of astronomical price would higher-grade crystals be sold at? Calming down, Ling Chen said towards the yawning shopkeeper, "Hello Boss Wang, is there anything I can help you with? Oh, hello, hero from another world. The item store shopkeeper responded a bit unconcerned, I do have something that requires your help. Just a few days ago, when I went to Shrub Forest to gather herbs, I encountered an attack by a group of wild boar. Running away in haste, I lost a very important ring. Sigh, I don't expect to get the ring back, but my anger towards those boars cannot be extinguished. Hero from another world, can you help me exterminate 30 wild boars, relieving the hate in my heart? Ding. You have activated the quest, Wang Ji's request, quest description, exterminate 30 wild boars, quest type, normal, quest time limit, none. Quest reward, 500 EXP, 2 silver, orange potions 10, blue potions 10, do you accept? Accept. Excellent, although, forest wild boars are LV5 monsters, with your current ability you are still unable to threaten them, properly increase your strength first, I await your good news. Shopkeeper Wang lazily closed his eyes after finishing. Walking out of the item store, Ling Chen came to the smithy. First quickly sweeping through the equipment sold, and then saying to the old blacksmith who was working hard smithing, hello boss Tai, is there anything I can help you with? The old blacksmith stopped his work, wiping the sweat on his face, saying smilingly, hello, hero from another world, I do have something I need your help with. Recently I've pretty much used up my casting materials, can you help bring me 100 wolf teeth? Wolf teeth are sharp and durable, mixing it into the iron can create a sharp weapon. Ding. You have activated the quest, Blacksmith's request, quest description. Bring back 100 wolf teeth and give them to the smithy's old Tai. Quest type, normal, quest time limit, none. Quest reward, 1000 EXP, 3 silver, 1 LV5 iron shortsword, do you accept? Accept. Wolves are at the Wolf's Cliff at the north of the village. The bottom of Wolf's Cliff is a bottomless chasm, that is a very dangerous place. When you reach there make sure to stay away from the cliff's edge, do not fall down. Also, wolves are LV5 creatures, with your current ability you are unable to threaten them, properly raise your strength, I await your good news. Finishing talking, the old blacksmith turned around, continuing his work. These are some pretty damn generic NPCs. Wailing around the novice village, receiving only the 3 quests, 2 of which it is required to fight LV5 creatures, clearly not something regular players can do at the moment. Ling Chen walked around the village a bit longer, besides the straw house the chief warned not to get close to, walking around the entire village, only then carrying his novice sword and charging to the wilderness. Leaving the village, what's there is a vast field. Taking a look, his vision filled with thickly dotted groups of people, occasionally seeing some rabbits appear in these groups, but immediately being swarmed by players, instantly exterminating them leaving behind just a few rabbit hairs. Zerg Fest. Beside Ling Chen, a white rabbit spawned, and then started to rock back and forth examining this world. Buck-toothed rabbit, type, beast. Level, 1, HP, 50. A type of rabbit with big, pointy teeth. When in an emergency rabbits will also bite people, if bit it will really hurt knee, There is a Chinese idiom that goes something like, anxious dog jumps the wall, saying that when pushed up against a wall, people will do extreme things. The rabbit biting thing is a play on that. Under the scan skill, Ling Chen gained this buck-toothed rabbit's basic data, right when he was about to raise his sword, a massive swarm of arrows and magic bullets all smashed into the poor little rabbit. Instantly, all that was left in front of Ling Chen was a pile of rabbit fur. Okay, so now is where everything starts. The noisy crowd of people immediately exploded. Elite. It's a 1-star elite monster. Holy crap. It's an elite monster. An elite monster that can add SP. The players around the area acted as though they were injected with chicken blood, all rushing towards the elite buck-toothed rabbit. The poor elite rabbit was drowned in the blink of an eye, and then the next second, without the chance to even swing his big carrot, became a bunch of rabbit fur like the other regular rabbits, even giving a half-eaten carrot on the side. I got it, I got it. A player that was determined to have killed the elite rabbit and gaining 1 SP, danced around crying out, excited as if he'd won the 5 million jackpot. Fuck. Why you so goddamn arrogant? Go, burst him. TL, in terms of the bursting, it's a term used in games to say kill them and also a slang term for attack/kill. They also say stuff like, burst his equipment, meaning killing them and making them drop their equipment on death. Not sure how I'll translate this in the future. Suggestions welcome. The red-eyed players swarmed forward. After a scream, the player who only showed off for 5 seconds fell to the ground, turning into a beam of white light returning to the novice village. Seeing this massive group, Ling Chen didn't know when he would be able to complete the quest of collecting rabbit teeth. Not stopping anymore, he walked further in. After the buck-toothed rabbit's territory, is the territory of the LV2 monster black-horned sheep. This place was also packed full with players. After that, is the territory of the LV3 creature civet cat. The numbers of players here noticeably decreased a lot. Leveling in Mystic Moon is relatively hard, even from LV0 to LV1, it can't be done without an hour or so. Ling Chen stopped, looking towards the civet cat stats, angry civet cat, type, beast, level, 3, HP, 100. Civet cats get angry too, you need to be careful of being bitten or clawed by it. Ling Chen, the players that come here are all because they have no choice, after all the amount of people at the black-horned sheep and buck-toothed rabbits was simply too great. All the players here moved in groups, besides Ling Chen, almost nobody was soloing. Lifting his sword, Ling Chen faced the closest civet cat and stabbed towards it. After an overly strong wind, the civet cat was hit. -18. Being attacked, the civet cat became furious, charging towards Ling Chen while making weird noises, using its pointy front claw to claw at him. Ling Chen's body slightly moved back, the civet cat's attack missing, a fierce sword wind once again attacking it. Full-powered strike. -23. Ling Chen landed his only attack skill, pushing the civet cat back a small step. The civet cat immediately charged forward fiercely, waving its claws lunging towards him. Ling Chen easily dodged, another sword blow landing on the civet cat, making its body that was still in mid-jump crash into the ground. He then took a step forward, a series of sword strikes landing on the currently unable to move civet cat's body. -19, -20, miss, -19, miss, -18. TL, wow, hit rate really isn't a joke here. The civet cat's tail finally curved upwards, not moving anymore. A copper coin falling from its body, landing at Ling Chen's feet. Picking up the copper coin, looking at his own experience bar that grew a bit, Ling Chen walked to the next civet cat, the simple, unadorned novice sword stabbing forward. 7 attacks, plus 7 transitions done in the blink of an eye, the second civet cat fell. They were all swinging their swords attacking creatures, but like how regular players were also doing the same thing, under comparison you would find, Ling Chen's movements were unusually rapid, the sword in his hand only lightly shook, an afterimage flashing by, the novice sword already landing on the target's body. As fast as a streak of lightning flashing by. At the same time, his movement of retracting the sword was also incredibly fast. When the sword touches the target, before the damage number can even float upwards, the sword is already quickly withdrawn. Ling Chen's body also followed the sword moving vertically or horizontally, and every time at the moment he retracts his sword and changes position he would always perfectly dodge the civet cat's upcoming attack, as if already knowing where the opponent was about to attack. Under his attacks that were like flowing water, in only just a couple of minutes, his sides were already lying a small group of civet cat bodies. TL, I did a horrible job of translating this. I would really appreciate if someone would try and make a better translation. TL, breath out. No challenge at all. Curling his lips, Ling Chen said to himself. Tilting his head, he saw 3 people staring at him with their eyes popping out. Accurately saying, they were staring at the small pile of civet cat bodies by his feet. Almost not willing to believe that they were all killed by him alone. It needs to be known, unless you stepped on some kind of massive dog shit luck, right now the entire world's players should all be at LV0. Coming here at LV1 to solo farm was still acceptable, but one person, exterminating so many within such a short period of time, how could they not be surprised? TL, dog shit, Chinese equivalent of bullshit, no racism please. What made them even more surprised, is the process that they saw the civet cats killed. A creature that them 3 working together still had to be careful facing, under his hands were killed easily like he was doing tricks. They practically couldn't see him swinging his sword, the speed that he moved his body made them cross-eyed, and, that displacement did not depend on the movement speed from transitioning, but his feet following his body and moving at the same time. All players have the same initial movement speed of 100, but they could definitely not shift their position like Ling Chen. Glancing at them, Ling Chen didn't say anything, picking up the copper on the ground, putting away his sword, walking deeper into the map, leaving behind those 3 people staring at each other. The civet cats here are 2 levels higher than him, but to him there really wasn't any challenge. Not to mention, the novice village didn't have a place that sold masks, at the moment he can't draw attention to himself. He wasn't really afraid of anything, but he will not allow any possibility of Ling Shui Ruo's peaceful life being disturbed. That movement, that displacement, that awareness, and the gaze that he looked at us with. Definitely an expert. Wrong. An expert among experts. What do you guys say? Could he be someone on the China master list? Looking in the direction that Ling Chen left, the 3 people carefully discussed. After the civet cat is the LV4 fox, the number of players here was already pitifully little, only able to see some sparsely spread people. Not stopping, Ling Chen continued walking forward, continuing to walk out of the field, arriving at a shrub forest. The shrub forest was a bit dim, more or less exuding a dangerous aura. Here, Ling Chen could no longer see a single person. Ling Chen walked around inside, suddenly stopping, the shrub on his right shaking, suddenly bursting apart, 2 wild beasts carrying an air of ferocity charging forward, long boar tusks like 2 sharp knives. Mountain wild boars, type, beast, level, 5, HP, 180. A type of wild boar that is used to living in the mountains, a violent temperament. It will automatically attack life forms that get close. A player that is only LV1, a full set of novice equipment challenging a LV5 monster, in the eyes of any player this was an act of suicide. Not to mention, what Ling Chen is facing is the simultaneous attack of 2 LV5 wild boars. Mountain wild boars, the exact creature that the item shop's Mr. Wang wants him to hunt. The wild boar's running speed is very quick, from far away Ling Chen could still feel a gust of wind rushing at him. He did not retreat, instead slightly squinting his eyes, quietly watching the 2 wild boars approach. Whoosh! Right when the wild boar's sharp tusks were only centimeters away from his chest, he suddenly turned his body at an alarming speed. This was not a simple body turn, because if anyone saw the speed that he turned his body, they would all be dumbstruck. Incredibly surprised at his almost unbelievable explosive power. The sharp tusk practically stuck to him as it slid past. It was also at that moment, Ling Chen raised his hand following the momentum, a full power strike, stabbing at its back. -8. The wild boar's defense wasn't too exaggerated. At the very least Ling Chen's LV0 initial stats were enough to rip open its defense. At this moment, the second wild beast also charged to his front. Ling Chen did not retract his sword that he swung, instead his body following the sword moving forward, dodging the wild boar as if a coincidence. The faster you run, the longer it takes to stop. Ling Chen charged directly behind the first wild boar, 3 consecutive, full power strike, cutting into its back. -9, miss, miss. With only 5 hit rate, adding the level suppression, Ling Chen's attacks were mostly miss. He didn't care, evidently understanding earlier that it would be like this. The 2 wild boars that missed finally returned to their senses. This time, they did not charge one forward one backward, but instead one to the right and one to the left, 8 short legs carrying the dust on the ground upwards. Ling Chen's took a small step backwards, and then suddenly stopped. Instead facing towards the sharp tusks of the boars and charging forward. Whoosh! Ling Chen's body like a ghostly shadow crossed through the small gap between the 2 boars, simultaneously cutting the first boar, a damage of -7 appearing. He then quickly turned around, another 3 continuous blows stabbing in the wild boar, causing a series of cries from the boar. Miss, miss, -7. The 2 wild boars became furious, one of them after turning around, once landing on the ground, actually jumped up half a meter high, pouncing towards Ling Chen's body. Ling Chen was speechless, casually taking a step back. Immediately, in front of him a thump sound, the wild boar had fallen on the ground, for short legs sticking to the ground, not coming up after a while. Ling Chen didn't hesitate and went forward with a series of attacks, saying while attacking, "If you can't jump then don't jump, you're a boar, not a panther, do you understand self-awareness?" Suffering from a dozen or so of Ling Chen's attacks, even if the majority were miss, but the first wild boar's HP still dropped around 1/4. Finally getting off the ground, it gave a loud cry, charging at Ling Chen at full force, wanting to smash him into the sky. Naturally its charge didn't even scratch Ling Chen's clothes. If there were other players here right now, they would definitely be surprised to the point of speechlessness. 2 wild boars whose movements were relatively nimble, their charge fast and fierce, normal players couldn't even think of dodging it. Yet, Ling Chen's body was leisurely moving between the 2 beasts, from beginning to end not being touched by the wild boars. And his novice sword always in that short time frame of dodging able to stab or cut accurately on the wild boar's body. Slowly taking away their lives, causing them to cry out. 3 minutes later, under a dozen or so of Ling Chen's pinpoint attacks, the first wild boar finally fell to the ground in a cry of anguish, dropping 2 copper coins and a red potion. With only 1 wild boar left, the remaining job was even easier. Ling Chen changed from being passive to taking the initiative, directly facing it, easily dodging its attacks, the bland novice sword attacking it from all directions. In not even 2 minutes, the second wild boar also fell on the ground. In 5 minutes' time, as LV0, using a full set of novice equipment to kill 2 LV5 monsters, saying it out people would find it hard to believe. Even scarier, this person was unscathed from beginning to end. Son of a... I absolutely hated translating this chapter. I probably could have translated 2 chapters with the time it took me to translate this one. I have lost all confidence in myself. By the way, just ignore me. Though from how hard it was for me to translate this chapter, I'm most likely not going to translate any novel that's martial arts heavy. Ling Chen decided to stay here, actively searching for wild boars. One reason is to complete the quest, more so because this place was quiet enough, nobody would bother him. 1 hour later, under his LV0 state, and the cuts and strikes from the novice sword, the 30th wild boar fell in front of him. At the same time, a white halo floated up from Ling Chen's head. Congratulations! You have leveled up, now LV1, HP plus 10, MP plus 10, gained 5 AP. Finally raised a level, Ling Chen let out a small breath. Killing 30 LV5 creatures but only rising from LV0 to LV1, completing his first step in this world. How bullshit is the leveling system for Mystic Moon? Even more bullshit, he's already killed 3 higher level wild boars, but in total they only dropped a couple dozen copper coins and a few red potions, not even a white grade equipment. Asterisk ding asterisk. You have successfully killed 30 mountain wild boars, completing the quest requirements for Wang Ji's request. You can now return to the novice village's item store and hand in your quest. Completing a quest at the same time as leveling up, but Ling Chen did not leave right away, instead staying here, continuing to look for the next wild boar. The reward for the wild boar quest is a pile of potions. These he didn't really need at the moment. What he needs most is to quickly raise his level. -17, -18. Putting all of his stat points into strength without even hesitating, the damage that Ling Chen dealt towards the wild boars doubled. His health currently at a brittle 60 points. If he suffered hits from multiple boars, he will directly die and return to the novice village. Players that dare to chase after extreme attack at the beginning, pretty much nobody would besides those whose brains had a little problem. No matter how strong your attack, if you can't even take 2 of the monster's attacks, then it can only be a decoration. It needs to be known, warriors are a close combat profession. They are very different from kiting archers and elemental mages. They need to develop their attack, defense and health. His damage doubling against the wild boars, adding his level up, the level suppression on hit rate was slightly weakened. Ling Chen's rate of exterminating wild boars also doubled. After another hour, the 100th wild boar fell before him, his experience points already reaching 70% of LV1. Following the death of the 100th wild boar, a dim, dark gray-colored piece of equipment fell by its side. Ling Chen took a step forward, picking it up. Fine cloth long pants, type, lower garment, grade, pale white, equipment requirement, any class LV5 or above, long pants made from intricate cloth, more or less has some defensive abilities, attributes, defense +5, 2 hours, killing 100 wild boars higher level than him, finally dropping a piece of equipment, a pair of white grade long pants that can only be worn at LV5. Ling Chen didn't know if he was supposed to cry or laugh. Is it that my initial luck stat is too low? Ling Chen stared at his 5 luck, silently thinking. Looking at the time, it was already nearing noon. Ling Chen didn't continue looking for wild boars, instead closing his eye, issuing the exit game command. A flash of light, Ling Chen had already disappeared from the mystic moon world. Opening his eyes, Ling Chen saw the crystal chandelier on his ceiling, along with 2 eyes even more pure and beautiful than crystals. Ling Shui Rua sat by his side, her hands at her cheeks, a slight smile at the corners of her lips, staring at him without blinking, staring at him for who knows how long. Seeing him open his eyes, Shui Rua smiled sweetly, "Brother, you're awake." Even though he was already very familiar with Shui Rua, but he still became dazed looking at her face up close. He would constantly praise if it was that the heavens spent all of its energy on sculpting Shui Rua's face and body, or else, why were his Shui Rua's face and body so perfect to the point of appearing as though an illusion? Ling Chen sat up on the couch, saying with care and blame, Rua, why are you not listening again and moving around on your own? What you need the most right now is rest. But I really like seeing brother's peaceful look." Shui Rua stuck out her pink tongue, smiling saying, "Brother, did you have fun in the game?" "Yeah." Ling Chen carried Ling Shui Rua from the wheelchair, placing her where he was just lying, putting his hand on her cheek. "Are you hungry? What do you want to eat for lunch?" I want to drink mushroom soup." "Brother, can you play the piano for me first?" Ling Shui Rua blinked her eyes, desire and joy flashing in her eyes. "Okay." Ling Chen nodded smiling, placing down Shui Rua body, and then walking towards the piano in the corner of the living room. Sitting in front of the piano, slender fingers touching the piano keys, following the rise of the first note, his fingers start to move along the piano keys as if dancing, a piano sound as gentle as a breeze and nourishing as dew entered Shui Rua's heart. In the warm and soothing sound of the piano, Ling Shui Rua gently closed her eyes. Ling Shui Rua would never forget, brother's piano skills, were hand by hand taught by her. He learned things so quickly, using only a few months. The piano sound that he played made her, and her parents intoxicated, making her who learned the piano since she was little candidly admit defeat. After she caught Israk, her parents left. At her most hopeless moment, it was him, using the warmest piano sounds allowing her to slowly break away from that pale world. The piano sound lingering, Ling Chen heard Shui Ruo's even breathing. He stood up from the piano, returning to the bedroom, taking out a soft blanket, lightly placing it on the smiling Shui Ruo who was already asleep, lightly kissing her face, and then walking lightly towards the kitchen. The kitchen's door was tightly closed, to prevent waking up Shui Ruo. And Shui Ruo at this time also slightly opened her eyes. Before she and her parents caught Israk, Ling Chen didn't know anything in regards to cooking, cleaning these kinds of household chores. But shortly after that, for her, he learned everything that he didn't know before, striving to make himself do it the best. And from the beginning, continuing until now. Maybe, I am a pitiful girl, because I've been infected with the most terrifying Israk. But, more times, I feel like I am enough to be envied and admired by all of the world's other girls, because I have the best brother. Afternoon, accompanying Shui Ruo until she peacefully fell asleep. Ling Chen once again entered Mystic Moon, appearing in the place he went offline in the morning. Just going online, his communication device rang. The player communication device is an intricate bracelet on the wrist. Not only does it have communication capabilities, it also displays time, and can take pictures or videos. When you don't want to use it you can also throw it into your bag, this way nobody can contact you. The person that called him is called Huan Mie. Ling Chen slightly hesitated for a bit, and then picked up the call. A man's voice impatiently came through. Hugh, finally waited until you came online. It's me Yunfeng. Sure enough. Ling Chen responded, you weren't on in the morning? Disillusion? This name seems pretty different from Cycle of Wind and Snow, from last time. TL, in English to show the difference, though depending on the poll I might keep it as disillusion. Oh, I was busy with my sister in the morning. I helped her buy a new house, to set as her studio's office. We only settled it this morning. The house is really big, although in terms of personnel it really is. Sigh, we'll talk about it when we get out of the novice village and arrive at the main city. What number novice village are you in? For 9554 I'm in number 99999, this number is pretty nice huh, hee. 100,000 novice villages, sure enough it's pretty much impossible to get placed into the same village. Guess we can only meet in the main city. Oh right, what level are you now? Yunfeng expectantly asked. LV1. The Yunfeng on the other side was clearly stunned for a bit. Right now LV3 players were all over the place, a lot were already heading for LV4, this super expert his heart was still LV1. He hurriedly said, I'm still LV1 too, then I won't bother you leveling, if you need anything just contact me. Hanging up, a wild boar had already charged in front of him. Ling Chen casually turned his body, calling out the novice sword, continuing to abuse the tough-hided, but evidently not so smart boars. Ling Chen's leveling rate was already low, using his initial stats to farm monsters multiple levels higher than him, adding that he also had to take care of his sister. He wasn't in the game for the majority of noon. His leveling speed naturally wouldn't match those leveling madmen that had their own personal party. But he wasn't in a rush. In the virtual game world, what decided if you were strong or weak wasn't just level. Half an hour later Ling Chen's experience was already at 99.7%, exterminating one more wild boar would allow him to become LV2. But at this moment, not 5 meters to his right, a white light flashed by, a big wild boar double the size of a regular wild boar appeared there. Besides its larger size, everything else about it was exactly the same. On top of its head, 2 faint golden little stars floated there. Elite monster, and it's a 2-star elite. Ling Chen's blood slightly boiled. The newly born head boar's front hooves dug at the ground, raising its boar head, letting out a series of unpleasant cries. Ling Chen directly charged at it, the novice sword continuously striking its body. He despised these small bosses that the first thing they did when appearing was make a show of themselves, because this incredibly idiotic act would only hasten their death. Miss, -9, -8. For attacks, taking away a total of 17 HP, only then did the head wild boar's demonstration end, and letting out a strange cry, charging towards Ling Chen. Even though its running speed is the same as a regular wild boar's, but the pressure brought by its extra-large body was a lot greater. The damage dealt towards the head boar made Ling Chen slightly crease his eyebrows. Facing the head boar's brute charge, he paused for half a second, turned around and ran. The head boar following closely behind. Running a dozen steps, Ling Chen set his eyes on a half-a-meter thick tree in front, his speed not lowering, charging towards the tree. Bam! The one who hit the tree wasn't Ling Chen, but the head boar. When almost at the tree, Ling Chen lightly jumped, stepping on a tree branch and doing a spectacular backflip. Flipping over the head boar's head. As for the head boar whose slow mind couldn't comprehend what was happening, it smashed directly into the tree. Its entire body flopping onto the ground, little stars spinning above its head representing the stun condition. Under the stun condition, no attack can be dodged. But Ling Chen didn't take the chance to charge forward, instead quickly distancing himself from the head boar, leaving the recovered boar's aggro area. Quickly, a regular wild boar appeared in his line of sight. He charged forward, cutting at its body. Against this group of wild boars, Ling Chen was already well adept. Because they only had one form of attack, and that is a body charge. If he was touched by such an attack, even he would feel like he had no face to continue living in this world. Casually tangling with this wild boar for a minute, following another stab from the novice sword, this wild boar like many of its kind fell down. Ling Chen's experience bar instantly filled up, the level-up halo floating up from his head. ****. Congratulations, you leveled up, now LV2, HP plus 10, MP plus 10, gained 5 AP. Finally reaching LV2, Ling Chen still put all his AP into strength without hesitating, his attack strength once again going up 10 points. He then turned around, charging back to the head wild boar's location. The head boar was still staying under the big tree, digging at the ground in boredom. The moment it saw Ling Chen approaching, it charged over with a loud cry as if seeing his mortal enemy. Ling Chen surveyed the area, laughing with a hee-hee, turning around and quickly running towards another big tree. The head boar vigorously chased behind, and then... Bam! The same backflip, Ling Chen landed behind the head boar, and the head boar once again smashed into the tree becoming stunned. Besides bumping into a different tree, the entire process was exactly the same as the first time. Ling Chen charged forward, using full power strike to unceremoniously greet its body. -22, -21, -42. Because the head boar was currently stunned, all of Ling Chen's attacks hit, a spectacular critical hit on the third strike. 3 attacks, directly taking away over 1/10 of the head boar's HP, suffering from 3 strikes the head boar at last recovered from his stunned condition, and then with flames of anger, charged again at Ling Chen. And Ling Chen had already started running the moment the head boar recovered. The wild boar's running speed was greater than a player's initial running speed, so under the head boar's full-on chase, it was getting closer and closer to Ling Chen, and then... Bam! Smashing into the tree from the first time. This time, the head boar was directly knocked over, falling on the ground with its 4 feet facing the sky. Ling Chen calmly walked forward, attacking 3 times, taking away another 1/10 of its life, and then turning around, using his fastest speed to run towards the other tree. 7 seconds later, the head boar once again hit the previous tree. If this head boar had the slightest bit of intelligence, it would not be led in circles by Ling Chen using such an easy method. But if it had enough intelligence, then it couldn't be called a pig then. In a short amount of time, the head boar had already been brought 4 rounds between the 2 trees, accurately being stunned by the 2 trees 8 times. The last time, Ling Chen took the opportunity to attack 4 times, clearing its HP, ****. You have successfully killed LV5 2-star Elite Head Wild Boar, Fame +10, gain 10 SP. A shining silver coin dropped from the head boar. Ling Chen picked up the silver coin, he then kicked the body aside. Following the displacement of the wild boar's body, 2 shining blue pieces of equipment appeared in front of him. Iron equipment, 2 pieces too. Ling Chen quickly picked them up. Of the 2 pieces of equipment, of them one is a bracer made of iron, the other was actually a ring. Iron bracers, type, handguard, grade, iron. Equipment requirements, any class LV5 or above. Sturdy bracers forged by iron. Attributes, defense +5, hit rate +2. Adding 2 points of hit rate, pretty good stats. If Ling Chen could have had these 2 points before, killing the mountain wild boars would result in so many miss. Too bad he can only equip it at LV5. Amethyst ring, type, ring, grade, iron. Equipment requirement, none. A ring mounted with a beautiful amethyst, has a high ornamental value. Seems to be lost by the village item shop's boss Wang, and then obtained by the head wild boar. It will only drop when the head boar is killed the first time. Attributes, HP +100. Ling Chen, rings, are very rare accessory type equipment, even more rare at the novice stage. This ring is iron grade, adding a whole 100 HP, and it doesn't have any requirements. This at the novice stage, could be deemed as godlike attributes. If Ling Chen equips it, his HP would more than double. Although, it is clearly written in the ring's description that it very likely is the ring that the item shop's shopkeeper lost. When the item store shopkeeper gave the quest to hunt the wild boars, he did mention his lost ring, also saying that he didn't expect to find it. Holding the ring, Ling Chen hesitated. Should I return it to the item shop shopkeeper? If he keeps it, wearing it can allow him to greatly increase his safety when killing monsters. Even if he sold it, he could sell it for an astronomical price. If he returned it to the shopkeeper, a reward was certain, but whether or not the value of the reward surpassed the ring was an unknown. Thinking for some time, Ling Chen put away the ring, heading in the direction back to the village. The novice village didn't have a teleport scroll, you can only get there through walking. The territories for LV4 and below creatures were still packed. Inside the novice village it was already lively and bustling. Ling Chen went straight towards the item store, turning in the quest to the shopkeeper. Seeing him return, the shopkeeper looked very surprised. "Ho! Didn't expect you to exterminate 30 mountain wild boars so quickly, it really is surprising. Thank you for helping me relieve my hatred, here, this is your reward. *****. You have completed the quest. Wang Ji's request, gained 500 EXP, 2 silver, orange potion 10, blue potion 10. The reward at hand, Ling Chen did not leave, instead taking out the amethyst ring, placing it before Wang Ji. "Boss Wang, do you recognize this ring?" Seeing the violet light in Ling Chen's hand, Wang Ji's eyes widened. His expression became excited. This is the amethyst ring that I lost a few days ago when I was chased by those accursed boars. Young hero, where did you find it? It dropped from a head wild boar. Ling Chen responded. No mistake, this is the amethyst ring that I dropped. This is a birthday gift my wife gave to me, yet I accidentally lost it. I was just in the middle of thinking how I am going to tell me wife. Young hero, can you return it to me? I will repay you generously. Wang Ji closely stared at the ring in Ling Chen's hand, saying excitedly. Ling Chen didn't hesitate, returning the amethyst ring to the shopkeeper's hand. Carefully putting away the amethyst ring, Wang Ji once again looked towards Ling Chen, slightly nodding his head saying, the Amethyst ring has some decent stats. Towards you heroes from another world who have newly entered the world of Mystic Moon, it has a lot of appeal. Yet you didn't keep it but returned it. Kind young ones like you who would return it are very few. Here, take this. In Forgotten Continent, this is a priceless treasure, but in here that is separated from the outer world, towards me its value is far less than my amethyst ring. I hope that it can provide you with a certain amount of help in your future adventures. Ding. You have completed the unique hidden quest, the Lost Amethyst Ring, Fame +10, gained quest reward, Red Blood Fruit. What Wang Ji gave to Ling Chen is a small red fruit about as big as a nail. Ling Chen carefully took hold of it. When he saw its stats, his hands slightly trembled a bit. Red blood fruit, a fruit that grows on the red blood tree in lava, incredibly valuable. After eating it, HP permanently increased by 100. Holding the little red fruit, Ling Chen even went as far as to rub his eyes. No mistake. It's not 1 point, not 10 points, but permanently adding 100 HP, forever. Permanently adding 100 HP, even in mid-game it is enough to make people excited enough to vomit blood. At the novice stage, this kind of item is practically a cheat. It can allow a person's overall strength to instantly pull apart from others by a street. And this kind of item actually physically existed in front of him, and already belonged to him. Okay, so spitting blood is a common thing the Chinese say to express an extreme emotion, like angry enough to vomit blood. As for the street thing, yeah, it's also a common thing said to represent the distance, metaphorical/physical, between a person and others, generally by a lot. Resisting the urge to swallow the red blood fruit, Ling Chen tightly held it in his hand. Good things really do happen to good people, good thing I didn't greedily keep the ring. Even though they are both add 100 HP, but being added by a ring, and adding permanently, they are on two completely different levels. Thank you Boss Wang, I think it will definitely be a lot of help to me. Ling Chen held back his excitement saying. Hee, that's good. Shopkeep Wang started laughing, and then saying, it's rare to meet such a kind young man such as yourself. I think I should take out my most proud creations for you, you have the right to buy them. Finishing, shopkeeper Wang carried over a glass cabinet from behind and placed it in front of Ling Chen. Inside is filled with little bottles of all colors. At the side there is a blue pendant. Ding. You have unlocked hidden event. The item shop's hidden merchandise, can buy the corresponding hidden merchandise from the item shop's shopkeeper Wang. Hidden merchandise? Ling Chen walked forward, looking at the colored bottles. Wang Ji's special strength potion, after use physical attack strength +20, lasts 1 hour, effect does not stack. Price, 10 gold, can buy a total of 10, Wang Ji's special magic potion, after use magic attack +20, lasts 1 hour, effect does not stack. Price, 10 gold, can buy a total of 10, Wang Ji's special hit potion, after use hit rate +20, lasts 1 hour, effect does not stack. Price, 20 gold, can buy a total of 10, Wang Ji's special speed potion, after use movement speed +20, lasts 1 hour, effect does not stack. Price, 20 gold, can buy a total of 10, Wang Ji's special health potion, after use HP +200, lasts 1 hour, effect does not stack. Price, 10 gold, can buy a total of 10, blessed blue pendant, type, necklace, grade, none. Equipment requirements, none. Once a regular blue pendant, afterwards mixed with the power of blessing from Goddess Fate of the 3 goddesses from the Mood God clan. After equipping it can be revived upon death, perfect condition. After the effect the necklace will break. Price, 2000 gold. Ling Chen, these are indeed hidden items, the effects of these special potions, each of them more surprising than the other. At the novice stage, if a player randomly chugged a bottle, they could easily beat down players of the same level. That sapphire necklace even had the effect of reviving on the spot. Even though they are powerful, but the prices are also each one scarier than the other. Strength, Magic, Health 1 bottle cost 10 gold, Hit and Speed Potions I bottle cost 20 gold. At the moment where currency cannot be exchanged, 1 gold was already a huge fortune. Ling Chen flipped through his bag, a total of 3 gold and 7 silver, this is also under the condition that he didn't buy any potions before. Yet he couldn't even afford to buy 1 bottle of hidden potion. Not to mention, having 3 gold could already be considered a rich person among players, don't talk about extra, regular players probably don't even have the money for potions. As for the sapphire necklace, forget it, at the speed of gold farming at the novice village, it would probably be tough even if he saved until next year. Seeing Ling Chen's stumped expression, Wang Ji obviously knew what he was thinking, saying smilingly, I know these items of mine are a bit too expensive, but these are my most proud creations, their effects are without complaint, relative to their effects, these prices aren't high at all. If you can't buy them at the moment then it's not a big deal, my original intention for creating these potions, is to be able to help a kind and powerful hero, how about this, at the north of the village, there is a wolf's cliff, there wander violent wolves, regularly attacking people. My younger son was also bitten before, he would be dead if it weren't for some kind of good luck. Young hero, if you can hunt 1,000 wolves and bring back their teeth, I will give one of each type of these potions to you. Ding. You have activated the quest Wang Ji's request 2, quest type, hidden, quest time limit, 3 days, quest description, within 3 days, head over to the wolf's cliff and kill 1,000 wolves, and bring back 1,000 wolf teeth. Quest reward, Wag Ji special strength potion, magic potion, hit potion, speed potion, health potion 1 each, do you accept? Okay, no problem. No need to think, Ling Chen directly chose to accept. The is the first hidden quest that Ling Chen received, as expected the requirements for hidden quests cannot be compared to regular quests. Just opening its mouth and asking to kill 1,000 LV5 creatures. But 5 special potions, a total price of 70 gold coins. Only an idiot wouldn't accept. Also, the quest accepted at the smithy before also required wolf teeth, just perfectly doing it together as well. Oh right, my youngest son goes every day in the afternoon around Wolf's Cliff to gather herbs, if you bump into him tell him to come back earlier. Recently those wolves seem to have become even more violent than before, I'm afraid he will be in danger around there. Before Ling Chen left, shopkeeper Wang said so yelling at him. Ling Chen headed east, crossing through a big field, and then a small canyon, arriving at the edge of Wolf's Cliff in not even a half hour, though he didn't see shopkeeper Wang's son along the way. Wolf's Cliff is the most eastern area at Novice Village 49554, because further east is a scary bottomless chasm. The atmosphere here is extra gloomy, wind howling, a series of wolf cries making people's hearts cower. At first glance, wolf packs wander around on top of the rocky cliff, raising their necks and howling. Scanning around him, besides Ling Chen, there are no other players around. Players with even a bit of virtual reality gaming experience understand, wolves are a very troublesome creature. It's not saying that they are stronger than same-level creatures, but that they usually move in packs. Angering one, a wolf howl, and the big group of wolves around will attack at the same time. If you have a strong enough party then you can manage, but a single person or a small party, it's safer to go around. Killing the 2-star elite head wild boar before, he gained a total of 10 AP. Ling Chen opened his stat page, putting 5 points into his only attack skill, instantly, the light for skill upgrades flashed. Ding. Your skill has been successfully upgraded to LV3. Full power strike, current level, LV3, highest level, LV5. Points to upgrade to LV4, 20. Beginner skill for apprentice warriors, using the weapon in the hand to strike at the target in front with all your strength, 130% damage, MP consumption, 5, cooldown time, 0 seconds. Beginner skills need very few SP to upgrade, upgrading from LV1 to LV3 in not even a day. Although, even using your toes to think you can know that, with the bullshit difficulty setting for Mystic Moon, the SP required for powerful skills will for sure be a crazy amount. Those numbers will like a curse force high-level players to use any method to find, wait, or steal all kinds of low-level or high-level boss. Picking up the incredibly valuable red blood fruit, Ling Chen looked at it a bit reluctantly, and then threw it into his mouth. Instantly, a hot feeling spread throughout his mouth, and then followed his throat down, spreading across his entire body. Asterisk ding asterisk. You have used the special item, Red Blood Fruit, HP permanently increased by 100. In a moment, Ling Chen's HP directly rose from 70 to 170. Full-powered strike's power once again increased, HP also more than doubled. Ling Chen picked up the novice sword, without any fear walking into the dangerous wolf territory, at the same time looking at his stats, character, Ling Tian level, 2 class, Apprentice Warrior Faction, none fame, 20, money, 3 gold, 7 silver, 0 copper, SP, 5 basic attributes, strength, 20, constitution, 5, agility, 5, spirit, 5 innate attributes, luck, 5, comprehension, 5 HP, 170 MP, 70 physical attack strength, 45 magic attack strength, 10 physical defense, 10 hit rate, 5, dodge rate, 5. Critical hit rate, 7%, pierce rate, 5%, TL, ignore defense, attack speed, 100%, movement speed, 100% elemental resistance, water, 0%, fire, 0%, wind, 0%, lightning, 0%, earth, 0%, light, 0%, darkness, 0%. All of his AP from leveling up went toward strength. Ling Chen's current attack strength is 45, the maximum attack for an apprentice warrior's starting conditions. Stepping within 5 meters of a wolf, the wandering wolf immediately turned around, a pair of eyes releasing a fierce glow staring at him, and then charging at him with a savage air. Wolf, type, beast, level, LV5, HP, 170. A type of more violent wolf, group creatures, will attack any outside life forms that get close. Whoosh! Following the slight twist of Ling Chen's body, a violent wind blew past his face, making part of his face slightly sting. Ling Chen squinted his eyes, his right foot that stepped backward when he twisted his body taking a large step forward, novice sword plainly thrusting forward, continuously piercing the wolf twice. -38, miss. Wolves are your model glass cannons, their defense a bit worse than the wild boars. But as long as you aren't an idiot you would know that being bit by a wolf would definitely hurt more than being hit by a boar. The attacked wolf let out a pained howl, quickly turning around, but it did not attack, instead raising its head, letting out a deep howl. Immediately, all the wolves within a 30-meter radius stopped what they were doing, letting out a howl similar to a respond, and then turned their heads together, charging towards Ling Chen's location. Ling Chen examined the situation. The number of wolves pouncing at him are in total 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, including the one in front of him, a total of 8. The only player here is Ling Chen, there is no one here farming to help him separate the pack, so with a howl, all of the wolves unmistakably charged at him. Against such a force, even a LV5 player, not saying one, even a party of 5, 6 LV3 players, would all run away scared, not childishly thinking that they could fight off the simultaneous attack of 8 wolves. Ling Chen's eyes scanned their locations, but did not run out of the wolf territory, instead heading straight for the first wolf. Miss, miss. The wolf's dodge rate is clearly higher than the wild boar's, adding the level suppression, Ling Chen's 5 attacks, there were at least 3 miss. The hurt wolf waved its claws pouncing at him, but only getting air. Before its front paw even moved, Ling Chen had already accurately predicted its displacement, perfectly dodging it using the smallest movement. He then used the short opening to quickly attack, continuously cutting into the wolf's body 3 times. -37, miss, -90. After a big miss, a purple damage flamboyantly floated upwards from the wolf's head. Critical plus pierce. The chances of activating critical and pierce simultaneously are very small. With Ling Chen's current 5% pierce rate and 7% crit rate, the chances of him simultaneously activating critical and pierce are only 3/1000. But once activated, the damage dealt was undeniably impressive. Under Ling Chen's critical pierce, the wolf's HP dropped more than half. Adding the 2 attacks from before, it had already entered the critical state. The other 7 wolves at this moment came from different directions, and then with a savage cry rushed at Ling Chen. The sound of wind from 7 different directions rang by Ling Chen's ears. His vision can only look in one direction, but in his head, there appeared 8 clear wolf images. Wolves have strong explosive power, their speed when pouncing is also relatively scary. A wolf's pounce from the front, normal people already have a hard time avoiding it, moreover there are 7, and one who could turn around and bite at any moment. Ling Chen's mind was completely focused, his face showing a bit of caution. This is his first time after entering Mystic Moon becoming serious. Under his acute senses, reactions and judgment that surpassed a human's limit, when the 7 wolves raised their bodies making pouncing motions, their movements, direction, and line of displacement clearly appeared in his head. His body suddenly lowered, right foot kicking at the ground, using the force generated from the kick to charge forward with his body at an unbelievable angle. Immediately, 2 gusts of wind carrying a bloody aura sailed across his back. His left hand lightly touched the ground, his body doing a nimble roll using the charging momentum, the 3 wolves attacking from the left all missing, while the last 2 wolves collided with a BAM the instant he dodged. Finding that Ling Chen had unexpectedly appeared at its side, that wolf quickly twisted its body, opening its mouth, using its sharp fangs to bite towards his neck, but Ling Chen's movements were a lot faster than its. The novice sword that slid across the wolf's body with a miss almost without pausing, directly cutting backwards, once again piercing the wolf's body. -38. The HP of the wolf that was hit by the critical pierce instantly emptied. Its movement stopped, and then fell on the ground with a sorrowful howl, dropping a dark white wolf fang and 2 copper coins. Conveniently grabbing the wolf fang, behind him, 3 gusts of wind assaulted him together. Ling Chen didn't turn around, his body in a squatting position, lying down in an instant, concurrently swing his right arm, a full power strike, cutting upwards. Shing! 3 grey wolf figures pounced over Ling Chen's body, the one in the middle being sliced in the stomach by the full power strike. Unfortunately it's a big miss. Ling Chen quickly got up, completely avoiding the attacks of the other wolves at the same time. He then pinpointed an opening, stabbing forward. The pack of wolves moved crazily, bringing up sand as they pounced, accompanied by overlapping howls. Ling Chen's body like an illusory shadow, dancing between the grey figures of the 7 wolves, at times moving right, at times moving left, and at times like having a death wishing, suddenly rushing towards the pack of wolves that he purposely grouped together. His positioning appeared completely random, as if moving as he pleased. Yet, if there was a player here, he would doubtlessly be dumbstruck by Ling Chen's swaying figure. As if looking at an alien that could not be measured by common terms. Because every time Ling Chen moved, where he stepped would always be an opening that had just appeared, his next position, another opening, and the previous opening would almost instantly be covered by a frenzied wolf. Under his calm exterior, nobody could imagine the number of images that instantly crossed in his brain. Fwoosh! 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 In a second, as if performing magic, he shifted his body 4 times. When his feet landed on the ground, in front of him was the completely open wolf pack. He swiftly charged at the wolf that he had focused all of his attacks on, 2 full power strikes, fiercely stabbing towards it. Miss, -58. A blue critical damage number floated up from the wolf's body, the second wolf also fell on the ground with a sorrowful cry, dropping a wolf fang and a red potion. Being surrounded by the wolf pack, from an outsider's perspective, each time he time dodged was always alarmingly dangerous, a hair-width's mistake and he would be buried under the claws of the wolves. Yet in such a concentrated group of enemies, the rate that he attacked was not at all low. Striking at an average of every 3 seconds, every instantaneous opening, all his moments to accurately strike. Not to mention every time he attacked, it would always strike that same target, until it fell. Not only is he avoiding their attacks, at the same time, creating openings while dodging, controlling their positions. Someone that can do this to such an extent, of all the people that he knew there were only 2, that is, Xiahua, and that underworld instructor that should already be dead, hell. Following the death of the second wolf, Ling Chen dealt with the situation a lot easier. The wolves' attacks became more and more fierce, but no matter how strong their explosive power, they couldn't even touch Ling Chen's shadow, instead becoming dizzy under Ling Chen's control, constantly biting their companions. Bam! 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 Following another, full power strike, the last wolf fell by Ling Chen's feet. The entire process took not even 5 minutes. Ling Chen picked up the 8th wolf fang and placed it in his bag, expressionlessly walking towards the top of the cliff where the wolves are even more concentrated. Killing higher-level monsters, he already clearly recognized the extreme drawbacks. What stands out the most is the hit rate. An average of 3 miss out of 5 attacks. If hit rate could be high enough, then the rate that he killed these wolves would greatly increase. But telling him to put his AP into agility, he is extremely unwilling. Right now he wants to reach LV5 as fast as he can, closing the level gap between the wolves, and then equipping the iron bracers that add 2 points of hit rate. At that time, the rate of killing these wolves will increase by many-fold. A whole afternoon, Ling Chen stayed on top of Wolf's Cliff, killing the wolves here with all his strength. 100 wolf fangs are needed to complete the blacksmith's quest. Completing Wang Ji's quest requires 1,000, in total it's 1,100 wolf fangs. At his current kill rate and the time every day he can spend in the game world, it will probably take until around tomorrow night to finish these 2 quests. Ding! Congratulations, you have leveled up, now LV3, HP plus 10, MP plus 10, gained 5 AP. Killing wolves for an entire afternoon, the time was already approaching nightfall. Ling Chen at last reached LV3. He finally stopped for the moment killing wolves, sitting on the rock at the highest point of Wolf's Cliff and letting out a breath. He then opened his stat page. Immediately, he rolled his eyes, almost falling from the cliff. The experience points required to upgrade from LV3 to LV4 are 5 times that of LV2 to LV3. The fuck? Slightly hesitating for a bit, Ling Chen decided to put all of his AP into strength. He counted the wolf fangs in his bag, then looking at the time, running down the cliff. He decided to first hand in the blacksmith's quest, and then go offline to take care of Shui Ruo. At this moment, an incredibly desolate howl came from behind. Ling Chen paused, quickly turning around, surprisingly finding, at the spot he had just stopped, a massive 2-meter-tall wolf was howling. On top of its head, 3 gold stars shined. 3-star elite. Changed wolf teeth to wolf fang.